All right, coming live to you from Northeast Texas, it's the Bible Guy Show. I'm your host, the Bible Guy. And today's co-host is going to be one Ashland of TikTok.
I'm gonna be what?
Co-host?
No, you said something. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Anyways, so I'm going to test something real quick just to make sure.
It works.
Oh, good. Okay, I can't hear it on this side. That's good to know. Anyone who's watching right now, wondering what the heck is the buzzer about? Well, you'll find out maybe, depending on how obstinate some of our guests are today. Anyways, so everyone, make sure you tap that screen. You are breathing quite loudly.
Oh, sorry.
Make sure everyone you tap that screen. Share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends, with your enemies. I'm the Bible Guy. Make sure you tap that screen like Jonathan wanted to tap King David. Let's get the live out so we can have some interesting conversations today about how Jesus was not God, he was not the Messiah, and he was not resurrected from the dead. Let's see. Where are all my peeps at in the comment section? I want to see your beautiful profile pictures and your wise words.
I don't have any wise words.
You damn right. No, just kidding. No.
How wooed.
Here, I'll just ceremonial opening of the Dr. Pepper can. It's like a commercial. Wait.
My cup says I pooped today.
I bought that.
This
cup.
was a gift. This is a gift from Dalton. I literally was watching Eric the Electric, and I said I wanted this cup, and then the next thing I know, it's at my house.
I am merciful. All right, we have a guest. We got Chosen 144K. Chosen, I'm going to ask you the same three questions I ask every single one of my guests. Are you at least 18 years old? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns?
Yes, he, him.
All right, Chosen, he, him. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy, and I do not believe Jesus was God, the Messiah, or resurrected from the dead. Which one of these 3 points would you like to discuss with us today?
The Messiah.
All right. I do not think Jesus was Messiah because he did not fulfill a single messianic prophecy.
Okay. Do you know who is the Messiah?
No, there is no Messiah. At least none that
So
have arisen.
Jesus is not the Messiah, and you don't believe that there is a Messiah.
Well, from quite evident from all the data, doesn't seem to indicate that there currently is any Messiah.
So what criteria are you using to determine what should or who should be the Messiah?
The fulfillment of prophecies given in the Hebrew Bible.
Okay, so are you saying that it's not something that's going to happen in the future, or something that has happened in the past? Because when you say that there is no Messiah, what do you mean by that?
As in, there has not arisen any person who fulfills any of the prophecies concerning the Messiah.
Okay. What prophecies are you referring to that Jesus did not fulfill?
He didn't bring peace to the earth. He didn't build the temple and reinstitute the sacrificial system. He didn't bring Torah to the nations. And he didn't gather in the exiles of Israel and reinstitute the monarchy of Israel.
Okay. Just how familiar are you with the story of Jesus?
Extremely.
Okay. So are you familiar with the fact that Jesus said that my kingdom is not of this world? And are you familiar with the prophecy of his second coming?
Yes, that's exactly what I would say too if I wasn't actually a king. I would just say, my kingdom's not of this world. It's like, oh yeah, I have a girlfriend, but she goes to another school.
But the funny thing is, I'm not asking you what you would say. I asked you a direct question that I'm expecting an answer to.
Yeah, I know that Jesus, well, at least the authors of the Gospels make that claim that Jesus said that.
Okay, so if Jesus himself said...
I wasn't done talking.
Go ahead.
Okay, I know the authors of the Gospels do make that claim on regards to Jesus, but just someone saying, well, my kingdom's not of this world, I don't see that anywhere in the Hebrew Bible that says that the Messiah's kingdom would not be anywhere else other than the land of Israel.
Okay, but again, we're not. I could care less about your personal feelings.
No, it's
We're
not personal.
talking about what the
It's
script.
not a fact. It's not a
Excuse me,
feeling.
I wasn't
It's
finished.
not a
I
feeling.
wasn't finished.
It's not a feeling. It's
I wasn't
facts.
finished though.
It's a fact.
I wasn't finished.
I don't care. My show.
So
So
nobody
it's a
cares
fact.
about your feelings.
I didn't bring a
I'm
feeling.
asking you according to the scripture.
I didn't bring a feeling. The Hebrew Bible never says the Messiah's kingdom will not be of this world.
Are you finished?
Yep.
Okay. Now, the scriptures describe a future event, right? Aside from your personal feelings and your personal gripes,
Nope.
when you look at the book of Isaiah, excuse me, sir.
Stop trying to mischaracterize.
Chosen.
Excuse me, sir.
Chosen. You need to stop being a complete dick. Like, this is
Sir?
a conversation.
Yeah.
Did you hear something?
Stop trying to.
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Sir,
No.
I feel like I'm talking to you, but I hear something in the back.
Yeah, fuck
Bye.
off.
I have mod powers, asshole.
Did you hear something? What the fuck is that about? Also, stop trying to. You mischaracterized my positions. I didn't give you what I feel. I talked about what does the Hebrew Bible say, and the Hebrew Bible does not say that the Messiah's kingdom will be a heavenly kingdom. It says it will be on Israel. So, also, anyone who disrespects my co-host can kindly fuck right off. What a wonderful start to the show. Anyways, everyone, keep tapping that screen. We got Jesus is setting you free. And the comment says, there we go. Manifestation of the heart. Yes, the guest manifested his evil heart by being a misogynist and also by mischaracterizing my perspective. Spirated, spirated. I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every one of my guests. Are you at least 18 years old? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns?
18. Yeah, I'm a Christian, and he, him.
All right. Spirated, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. And I think Jesus was not God or the Messiah or resurrected. Which one of these would you like to talk about?
Jesus not being God.
All right. Why do you think Jesus was God? What's the evidence?
I just have to clarify. Are you going to argue philosophy or scripture?
Scripture. We don't talk about philosophy. We talk about what does the Bible say.
Simply because the Bible is in correlation, and if we look at the book of Jeremiah, it predicates divinity to the Messiah.
No, it doesn't. Where?
It doesn't. In Jeremiah 23.
Jeremiah 23 verse 5, is that what you're referencing?
1-6.
Yeah, it says that he will be called Yahweh Tzidkenu, which is Yahweh is our righteousness. So the name of the Messiah is Yahweh is our righteousness. Doesn't mean that he is Yahweh. You know that all, like for example, many of the ancient Israelites had names that had the theophoric element within them, such as like Hezekiah, whose name was Chizkiyahu. Strength is Yahweh. Doesn't mean that he is Yahweh.
Yeah, I'm just asking. Are we gonna predicate the name Yahweh to only Yahweh?
Yeah. Yahweh is the name is the personal name which belongs to the God of Israel. Although he can bestow the name onto other individuals to impose upon them his authority.
Yeah. So how are we gonna? How are we gonna predicate the name Yahweh? How are we gonna predicate the name Yahweh to someone who's not Yahweh? I'm not following.
So in the ancient Near East, we have, for example, like the angel of the Lord, for example, in the book of Exodus, and God is said to be able to the divine name is used as what's called the communicable vehicle for divine agency. In other words, that the divine name can be bestowed upon an individual, like an angel, for example, and the divine name being bestowed gives authority to the one who bears the divine name.
Yeah, I'm gonna believe that the angel of the Lord is God.
Why?
It's not what we're debating. That was not a good example.
No, it was a good example. You asked me how the name of Yahweh could be used for any other individual except for Yahweh. I gave you an example within scholarship, like how
that's not going to be a good example.
It is a good example. You just, for some reason,
why isn't it good? Why? Why? You can't just say it's not a good example and then.
Yeah, because I'm gonna believe that the angel of the Lord is the Lord. Like I said, we're not debating.
No, if you're there's a claim.
The son's divinity.
No. That's a claim. Why should I believe that the angel of the Lord is Yahweh?
That's
Thank you for the turkey.
meta-debating, bro. What are you doing?
No,
Come on, let's
no,
focus.
because you asked me for an example of where the name of Yahweh is used for someone who is not Yahweh. I gave you an example. You objected to it because you think it is Yahweh. Now I'm going to take you to task.
Yeah, and I never said I was going to critique. I never said I was going to critique your example. I simply said I believe that it's going to be
Well,
Yahweh.
you're wrong. Well, you're wrong.
Okay, can we focus on the topic, please?
We haven't left the topic.
We are.
Yeah, you're meta-debating, bro. I'm going to need you to focus
I
up.
think
Well,
I
you need to
think I
focus
think
up.
you don't know your Bible because you wanted to come up and fill, bro, and you don't know your Bible, and that's why you're panicking now, and so you have to fill the conversation full of
How many
fluff.
books in the Bible have the letter P in it, Ashlyn?
None of them in Hebrew.
Yeah, I know.
None of them in Hebrew or
This
There's no- said
none of
Hey, behave yourself, child. Now, Ashlyn
not
answered
in
you
the
correctly.
original languages.
So the book of Philemon has the letter Phi in it. Doesn't have a P. No, technically, and as
Phi is a letter?
yes.
Yes, in Greek,
Oh my gosh.
because it's written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek.
Okay,
So
let's try
none
again.
of them. There's not a P in any of those languages.
And also,
Let's try again, bro.
your
I'm
question,
asking
and also, your question has nothing to do with the topic. Stop trying to try to deviate us from the topic at hand.
Yeah, you know, when someone tries to preach my Bible to me, I
Well,
want to know if
it
they're
would-
educated.
We know it better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't answer Philippians or First and Second Peter
Doesn't matter.
or
It's not in
if
the
they're gonna have
original
the letter P in
language. Those are English. That's in English. I said not in the original languages.
Yeah.
Because
and I
there are
never
no
asked about
Ps.
the
And you
original
did- and
language.
Because there are-
And you didn't even
But
know.
that's what I'm going to rely upon.
Koine Greek or
You didn't even know.
Koine. It's
Yeah.
called Koine Greek.
you're actually slow.
You're the one who doesn't
Aw,
know what Koine
baby-
Greek is.
Oh my
He needs.
gosh, bro.
He's crashing out because he doesn't know, and,
Can we
and he
stick to
went
the
off his
topic? How-
script. He went off script. He's panicking. He's shitting his pants.
How's this not
It's
gonna be
okay.
fun? Can we stay
I
on
had
topic?
I had a
Shut up.
child. I can diaper change you.
Yeah. Spy rated.
Can we stick on the topic? How's this not gonna be Greek?
Yeah, you can stay on topic. So shut the fuck
be
up.
fine.
Shut the fuck up about what books of the Bible start with the letter P and stay on topic. So, why should I think Jesus was God?
How's the son not gonna be divine?
Say what?
How is the son? Oh, maybe I need to say this lower.
How is the Son not divine? Divine.
Yes.
Yeah, divinity doesn't mean Yahweh. You understand that,
Oh
right?
my gosh! I never asked. I didn't say Yahweh.
I
said
did.
divine.
I never made the claim that
I
Jesus.
didn't say Yahweh.
I never made the claim that Jesus wasn't divine.
Oh, let me clarify, bro. Let me clarify. How is the son not gonna be God?
Because the Bible doesn't make that claim.
Oh my gosh! Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. Would you like to?
Does the God is he all knowing?
Yeah.
Okay, then he can't. Then
I
Jesus
believe in
can't be God.
hypostatic union with two
Then
natures.
then-
Horrible
then-
then
argument.
Jesus cannot be. Then
Horrible
Jesus
argument.
can't be God because he says he does not know the future when he was on the cross.
Yeah, he doesn't know when his day or
Can I respond?
Okay, sure. If you can respond from the Bible, because we don't give a shit about your
Yeah, if
post-biblical
God is all
philosophical-
knowing,
One
then,
second, Ashlyn.
then Jesus.
No one,
Sorry.
no one gives a shit about your post-biblical philosophical innovations. If you can't make your argument from the Bible, I'm not going to believe it.
Yeah, Jesus is gonna have two natures.
Oh, can you make that argument from the Bible?
Yeah, the fact that he's predicated divinity and predicated humanity. Horrible argument. Can we try again?
Divinity doesn't.
Can we try again?
Divinity doesn't mean God. I didn't ask if he was.
The fact
I
that
didn't.
he's
I didn't.
predicated the essence.
I didn't ask if Jesus was divine. I asked if he was God. Do you know the difference? You can unmute yourself.
The fact that we're gonna predicate God, the essence of God, and the essence of humanity to the same person,
No,
which
we're not.
are united.
No, okay,
not.
yeah, that's not answering my question. I said, do you know the difference between like something being divine and something being God? Do you understand?
I just keep hoping that you'll mean.
No.
I-
Do you
I
understand?
just keep hoping that you'll.
I don't know why you keep trying to overtalk me. No one can hear you while I'm talking. You do understand that in the ancient Near East and the time of Jesus, that divinity, it was not a binary. It wasn't either you were divine or you weren't human. Divinity was a spectrum, and not only God was categorized as divine. Are you aware of that, Spy Rated?
Yeah, I just keep hoping that
I don't care
when
what
I
you
say
hope.
divine, and especially since we're debating whether or not the Son is going to be God, you just
I did. Does
immediately
does
grasp
the
that I mean God. But I'm gonna clarify. I'll clarify.
Does the sign at the top say Jesus was not divine, or does it say Jesus was not God?
Oh my gosh! I just said I'll clarify. I apologize. I clarify. I'm sorry.
All right.
Can we continue?
So let's give us some evidence from the Bible that Jesus was.
And we can. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Are you familiar? Do you know Greek? I'm guessing you know Greek.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know Greek, so excuse me if I butcher. Okay. Great. Now, can you open up Hebrews? I'm not gonna go to
Hebrews 1.
verse 8. Yeah, I'm not gonna go to verse 8.
You say not going to go to verse 8?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but to the Son he says, "Thy throne, O Theos,
Yes.
is forever and ever. The righteous."
I didn't
scepter."
ask for verse 8, bro.
What verse are you looking for then?
No, verse 3.
Verse 3. All right. He reflects the glory of God and bears the very stamp of his nature, upholding the universe by his word of power. When he made purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high. Yeah, that's no problem. That doesn't.
Can you go into the lexicon?
Sure.
Is it a Strong's Concordance lexicon?
I hope it's not Strong's.
Are you using a Strong's Concordance?
And show me where.
Can I ask you a question? Are you using the Strong's Concordance lexicon?
It doesn't matter.
It does because
use whatever lexicon you wish.
Well, I'm letting you know that the Strong's Concordance is based off of the KJV. It is not based off of an actual language translation.
Maybe you didn't hear me. I said use whichever
Stop being rude,
I'm
stop.
gonna need you to drop your fucking attitude if you want.
I'm gonna need you to
shut the fuck up. I'm gonna need you to drop your attitude. If you want to stay on this live with me, you need to chill the fuck out and exemplify the fruits of the Holy Spirit. Stop being a child.
Anyways, as I was going to say, you can use whatever lexicon you say. I mean, you want. I'm gonna need you to track it, okay? Thank you.
I was just letting you know why we don't accept the Strongs and why you shouldn't use it either.
I didn't mention the Strongs.
I need you to act like you have a fully developed prefrontal cortex for 2 fucking seconds. I was trying to let you know that if you ever come across the Strong's Concordance and why it's not the scholarly position, you really need to grow the fuck up.
You're actually so.
I don't give a shit. What do you think? Now, why should this verse lead me to believe that Jesus is God as opposed to?
Can you read the lexicon? What is the what is it
word?
reference?
Which word?
What is the word?
Which word?
When it says that he reflects, when it says that he reflects, and he is the exact representation of the Father's nature or substance.
Yeah.
Can you go into the lexicon and show me what
it's
the words mean?
It's the Greek word character, which is which is an engraving.
Now, what can this reference?
It's an engraving. It's like, for example, if you were to take clay and you would take a seal and you were to engrave upon the seal an image, this would be a character. It's the engraving which is made from the seal. It's not the same thing as the seal, but it does reflect the seal. Correct?
Okay. Can you please, holy moly, for the last time, can you please go into the definitions
character
and tell me what the definitions
inscription? It's engraving. It's an engraving.
Oh my gosh. Apparently I have to do it, bro.
Engraving. The mark. Stamp. Engraving. I gave you the definition. Maybe you weren't listening. To engrave. To cut into.
You're leaving out a definition. What are you doing? Say all three.
What the hell are you talking about? All three. I'm looking.
Oh my gosh!
I'm looking at. Okay, listen. If you cannot, I'm giving you one more chance to act like an adult. And if you cannot do it, I'm going to drop you and move on to someone who will act like an adult. Because I'm getting done with your attitude.
Dude, you need to bend over and pull the stick out of your ass. Seriously, dude.
Yeah, you're not going to convert anyone to your shit religion if you're going to come up here and act like this.
Okay, bro. All right, so does it say just hypothetically, just wondering, tapping my chin with my index finger, could it possibly say the exact representation
that's not what mine says.
I told him to chill out, and he's not. He's just being a dick. When you adjust your attitude, you're more than welcome back up.
Yeah, what a dick. Anyways, just for everyone who knows, I was looking at the Thayer's Greek lexicon, and its primary definition here is the to engrave, to cut into. It could also be used for the instrument used to engraving or carving. It's a mark. I don't know what lexicon he was using. Probably the Strong's Concordance. Who knows? All right.
Well, that's why I told him not to use that, because we wouldn't accept it.
Yeah. Josiah, God's child. Are you at least 18? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns?
I'm sorry. Hey, brother. Were you talking to me?
Yes. Are you at least 18? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns?
I'm 24. I am a Christian, and I'm a he.
All right. Josiah, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy, and I don't think Jesus was God, the Messiah, or resurrected. Which one of these 3 points would you like to discuss with us?
You can go through and go off. I mean, I love having a conversation with you. I mean, I just love talking to people. You seem like a very chill and cool person, so I'd like to discuss it with you. I mean, are you a Christian? I mean, I don't like to know when to be rude or anything, but are you a Christian?
No, I'm an atheist.
Oh, okay. So can I ask, have you ever, gotten into Christianity or any other religion? Not just necessarily Christianity, but any other religion?
Yeah, I practiced Christianity when I was younger.
Oh.
Which topic would you like to discuss?
I was going to say, like, kind of all of them. We can kind of go through.
Which one would you like to start with?
We can start with God first and foremost.
So Jesus was not God. You agree or disagree?
I agree that Jesus is God.
Right.
You think that Jesus is God? Okay.
Why should I think that?
Well, I can give you some information from the Bible. Can I go to the Bible?
Absolutely. What's your first verse that you would like to discuss?
It's in Genesis where God said, "Let us make man in our image."
Mm-hmm. This is
in the beginning.
Genesis 1:27. This is God referring not to Jesus. This is referring to what's called the Divine Council. Are you familiar with the Divine Council?
Yes, I've heard of it, the Divine Council.
What is that?
The Divine Council basically kind of like how we have political systems down here built up with governors, senators, all many different things and people. It's kind of like heaven. That's kind of like the same similar thing.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? But I've heard of it.
Like yeah, you're partially right. So the Divine Council within the ancient Israelite world was the idea that there was a council of gods. Yahweh, the chief deity of the Israelites, was at the head of the council, and the rest of the council was made up of what are called the sons of God, which are the other lesser deities, like Mot and Baal, for example. When God says, "Let us make man in our image," he's speaking just to the other gods. That humanity was made to look like the gods.
So, other gods? So, basically you're saying that was referring to that God was talking to other gods?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I would say I don't agree with that, because even in the Bible it goes on to say that, God strongly knows and says that for he, there's only one true living God. And,
no.
What I was going to say, I refer to this verse, and why, I believe, let me give you the context, that's, my information of why I feel this.
Hold on one second. Yeah, okay. Because if you're taking the Bible and you think that it's all agreeing with itself, then you would just be incorrect. All the writers of each books had their own belief system, and I can show you where in Deuteronomy 32:8-9 it says, "When the Most High apportioned the nations, when he divided humankind, he fixed the boundaries of the people according to the number of gods. The Lord's own portion was his people, Jacob his allotted share." So we know because of Deuteronomy and other verses that there were other gods. There was Mot, Asherah, or Shira, Yam. There were plenty of other gods mentioned in the Bible, and it's not until later on you have them, and it's Exodus 6:3 into more of this monolatristic style where Yahweh was the head, and they get rid of everybody else. And it keeps on going in Exodus to show this. So I don't know what you're going to go to, but I have the positive. So if you're going to give me another verse that's saying something else, I'm just going to say the Bible is then contradicting itself.
I mean, you kind of said it beautifully before, sister. I mean, I understand that sometimes it may seem like the Bible contradicts itself, but just based on me and not just only my belief, but me, God revealing to me the truth, just to a relationship with Him. In the I don't know if you know the verse that states to where God was talking to the people of Israel after everything and all the things that happened. So one of the main commandments of God, like I know you from the Bible, is thou shalt not have any other gods before me.
Which implies,
and I was going to say that these gods,
which implies there are other gods. You're just not supposed to worship them.
No, these guys are also false. But like I was going to say, I was going to kind of go explain a bit more, explain to you why I believe this verse.
From the perspective of the authors of the Old Testament, it wasn't that the other gods were false. You won't find that language in the Hebrew Bible. What you're going to basically see is that the Israelites worshipped Yahweh, and other nations had their gods. They just thought that their God, Yahweh, was the most powerful of the gods. And eventually they believe, if you read Psalm 82, that God sits at as the head of the council of the gods. So when the text says, let us make man in our image, within the cultural context of the ancient Israelites, that is best understood as a reference, a vestigial reference, to the divine council, not to the Trinity.
Okay, so can I go to another verse? God's going to say, well, I was kind of go on and say, because I know the sister just asked me if there's another verse that I had. I was going to say the verse like I was going to say about when God was talking to the Israelites, and he was like, well, I'm the one that made the heavens and earth. Besides me, there is none other. There's not only just not no other Savior, there is no other God. Basically, God bringing to their attention, they did worship these false gods, but everything he's saying is true. But what I'm saying is that this verse is to prove, not to disprove, but to prove that those gods were false. Those gods weren't real.
This is just what we call like rhetorical language in the Bible. When God or the author says something like, besides me, there are no gods. It's like saying, listen, the Dallas Cowboys are the only football team, and there's no other football team besides them. The Bible says over and over again that other gods do exist. That cannot be denied. So when Yahweh says things like, and besides me there is no other, he's saying there's no other for Israel. That's why like the main testimony of the Israelites given in Deuteronomy 6:4, Shema Yisrael Yahweh Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is our God, Yahweh alone. It doesn't mean that there aren't other gods from the perspective of the Israelites. It only means that just Yahweh is the only God that they worship.
Yeah, and this is the post-exilic and exilic period.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand you not believe, okay, of course, that Jesus is God, that he's the Messiah, that he's resurrected, but do you believe at least everything that he said was true?
No.
Do you believe the Bible is true?
No. Jesus, obviously, everything Jesus said wasn't true. Like, for example, let's pretend like I believed in the Old Testament only. Jesus says things which are clearly not true in regards to the Old Testament. He says in John chapter 3 verse 13 that no one has ascended into heaven except he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. Well, that's not true, because according to the Hebrew Bible, Elijah ascended into heaven. So no, I don't believe the New Testament is true.
Okay, so I would say that when that verse, if you go a little bit more in context, when it comes to the preachings of Jesus and everything that he taught on his ministry down the earth, that verse in that it wasn't a contradiction. It was referring to God, and Jesus is basically saying that he is the only one who is ascended to heaven and come down to speak of it, to speak of the things of and from heaven itself.
That's not what the text says.
Like he's the Son of God. He's the one that came from the Father.
That's not what the text.
He's the one that descended onto the earth.
That's not what the text says, though. All the text,
I'm not saying
all the text. I can only go by what the text says. All the text says is, no one has ascended into heaven except him who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. That is Jesus making an exclusionary claim that he alone is the only one who has ascended into heaven.
Okay, I can understand what you mean by that. But I was going to say that, what about the verse within, well, let me go to John's 1:1. John chapters 1 verses 1.
Yeah,
where it states that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
Yeah.
And the same was in the beginning with God.
Yeah,
and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us.
Sure. I'm going to just tell you that this is a mistranslation on the part of your Bible. So what's important to know, so the Greek of the text of John 1:1 is, in arche in hologos, in the beginning was the Word, kai hologos in proston theon, and the Word was with, and it uses the phrase ton theon, which is the God. It uses the definite article, which is what the New Testament often does when referring to the God of Israel. It uses the definite article, ton theon, kai theos in hologos, and theos was the Word. And here theos is not being used to indicate identity. It's being used to indicate the quality of the Word, that it is theos, it is divine.
Okay, so you using the Greek are you using the Greek translation or the Greek?
I'm looking at the original Greek.
Okay, so what about in Revelations, where we know clearly within the scripture and the verse, right, where Jesus states that for I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end.
Yeah, Jesus is able
to. And we know that's Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus is uses a lot of titles that normally would be used for God. But this is because he's the bearer of the divine name. So within first century Jewish angelology, there is a belief that certain angels, like the angel of the Lord, can bear God's name and use his titles because of the close relationship between the two. This is just Jesus being that, functioning like the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament.
Okay, I can understand that, but that just contradicts. I mean, it's not. I would say, of course, I understand that the Bible may seem like there's contradictions, but we know that even God said that He would not share His honor and His glory with nobody.
I mean, that's what He said in Isaiah. But just because the author of Isaiah believed that doesn't mean that all other authors of the Bible would have believed that. The authors of the New Testament thought that Christians would be participants in God's glory upon the resurrection. So.
I mean, that is true. When God says that for they will share it within the glory of Him, after Jesus comes, and meaning we will share in the glory of Jesus Christ.
So He does share in His glory. So, just because the author of Isaiah has God saying, "I share my glory with no other," doesn't mean that that's what, for example, the author of John would have believed. They had their own individual theologies. If you had two pastors writing about God, and they would each bring to the table their own perspective on what God is like, you wouldn't automatically expect them to agree on everything. The same is true with Isaiah and John, for example.
Okay, that makes sense within that context. But I know that when it comes to within the Bible, the reason I say that is because God will not, give credit or glory to anybody, but in a certain sense in cases. So I'm going to explain it like this. So, okay, like how God says, if I will not credit my glory or give it to anybody, that's different than us sharing in the glory of God. And also God, saying that you get the glory for you doing this. You get the glory for this happening. But you can share within my glory with me. Meaning that when it comes to miracles and things that happen, we can share in the miracles with God, but we not take credit or giving glory or honor for those things. God does, but we share in those with Him. Meaning we get to be a part. Meaning like how the body of Christ,
that's no different
we get to be
Jesus.
A part of and with God and Jesus.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
He said that
that's no different than what Jesus did. He was just a participant in God's glory, and ultimately gave glory to God. Ultimately.
Yeah, but we know that, all throughout the New Testament or the script or the Gospels, if you see, we know that Jesus wasn't just no normal man. He was also a Messiah, but we know that He was God in the flesh. He even states that in the Word as well too.
Well, I would say he wasn't the Messiah because He didn't fulfill a single prophecy from the Old Testament concerning the Messiah, and also He never makes the claim to be God Himself.
So He said He didn't fulfill none of those. So when it said that the Messiah must suffer,
where?
So when it said that for the Messiah will suffer and has to suffer.
Where does it say that in the Hebrew Bible?
I'm sorry, I'm not going through about the Hebrew Bible. I'm just going by the normal or the regular.
No, the Old Testament. Where does it say in the Old Testament the Messiah will suffer?
I don't know the verse. You could probably look it up and find it. Like you can search that where I just stated.
There is no verse. There is no verse in the Old Testament that says the Messiah will suffer.
And so I would say all throughout the New Testament, brother, where it states that for all those things within the Old Testament, it said that before they would cast lot for my garments, they would look upon him whom they pierced.
Yeah, those
Jesus, when he suffered, when he gave his life for us, it also said, therefore, they would cast lots for my garments.
That's just upon whom that's just the authors of the New Testament misquoting the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament. If you go back and you read those passages that they quote, they don't have anything to do with Jesus. For example, they cast lots for my garment. That's from Psalm 22. That passage wasn't about Jesus. That passage was originally about King David.
Yeah, but I'm saying that was also prophecy pointing towards Jesus. This is done all throughout the Old Testament.
It's not a prophecy.
Because when Jesus... Okay, so when God within the beginning said, therefore, I will put enmity between your seed and her seed, for you will bruise her heel, and they will bruise your head, and you will bruise their heel. When he was talking to Satan,
he wasn't
talking. He was referencing and prophesying to his son.
He wasn't talking to Satan. Satan's nowhere in Genesis 3. And also, that's not a prophecy about like Satan and the Messiah. That's just an ideology explaining why there is hostility between snakes and humans. That's it. Nothing
well, more. The serpent in Genesis, brother, it was revealed even in Revelations that was Satan.
Well, no.
They even said that old serpent, the devil, who tricked them and who tempted them.
No. So it didn't say who tempted them. The serpent reference in Revelation is not
I'm saying, but it stated that
Josiah. The serpent in Revelation is not a reference to the serpent of Genesis 3. It's a reference to the serpent of the book of Isaiah, the serpent called Leviathan. Nowhere in the Hebrew Bible or in the New Testament is the serpent of Genesis ever identified as Satan. The reference in Revelation 12:9, where it says about the Satan, calling him the devil, Satan, also that old serpent called the devil and Satan, is a reference to a different serpent in the Old Testament, being the sea serpent Leviathan, the wriggling one, the dragon of the sea. Different serpent.
Okay, so do you know what Satan stands for, bro? Or do you know what the name Satan means?
Satan
it means the accuser, right?
Adversary, Hasatan.
The adversary, the accuser.
Yeah.
So when he said that for your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking for whom it is that it may devour. It's been quoted many times within the scriptures. I would say that this is.
But that has nothing to do with Genesis chapter 3, though. Genesis 3 is not a prophecy about the Messiah. It's just an explanation for why there's hostility between serpents and humans.
Okay. Well, I would say that it is, and I feel like it has to be because, brother, throughout the whole Bible, we know that the Bible and it all references to Jesus before.
No, it doesn't.
Before New Testament, and even when it comes to the Passover,
that's just a claim.
When Jesus told them to put the blood on the door.
Okay, Jesus Christ, that's just a claim that the entirety of the Old Testament is in relation to Jesus. I don't believe that claim. That's just a claim. I don't see Jesus at all in the Old Testament.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to know if you finished saying what it is that you wanted to say, because what you're saying are kind of interesting, but what I'm hearing is that you're saying that there's a lot of discrepancies, a lot of misinterpretations with the Bible and the Word of God. And I don't believe that, because I know God is a God and a Father who, not if you truly want us to know the truth, then He is the truth, like how He is and who He is.
Yeah, that's
just. There wouldn't be any interpretations of what He
wants. That's just another claim, and I don't care about that claim because the evidence doesn't fit that claim. The evidence says that there are no prophecies that Jesus fulfilled in the Old Testament.
Yeah, because those prophecies are in the Old Testament, brother, being fulfilled in the New Testament.
Not a single one.
All of those. The
only way you can make it look like Jesus fulfilled prophecy is if you take a passage from the Old Testament, rip it out of its context, and then sometimes even mistranslate the verse in order to make it sound as if it's about Jesus. But when you go back and you read the passage in its original language and historical and literary context, it becomes quite clear it has nothing to do with Jesus. Nothing.
So I don't know the Hebrew or the version that you're using to kind of, I would actually love to hear, of what it is that you're speaking of, because I haven't got a chance to read that or those versions yet. But I just want to say I understand and get what it is that you're saying, that it doesn't look like prophecy or seem like prophecy, but I mean that they are, because
why should I think
you can
that?
See, like I just explained, when it comes to, not in Genesis, but in Exodus, when the Israelites has been led out of captivity, and before the day of the Passover.
I just need to make it very clear. Do you know the difference between a claim and evidence? Do you know the difference between those two things?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
A claim is something that's not proven. It's something that's just stated. Evidence is proven.
Yes.
Evidence is sure.
So when you just keep telling me things that you believe, those are just claims, and I'm going to just not believe you. I'm going to need you to actually provide some evidence for the claims you're making.
Well, I'm saying the Bible that you're trying to disprove.
Believe you. I'm going to need you to actually provide some evidence for the claims you're making.
Well, I'm saying the Bible that you're trying to disprove.
Misinterpreting the Bible. You don't know it very well is the problem. Most Christians don't know the Bible very well, which is why they have these horrible talking points. But again, you've yet to give me a good reason to think Jesus fulfilled any prophecies.
So so you said that the Bible.
Reason to think Jesus fulfilled any prophecies.
So so you said that the Bible, the Hebrew version doesn't. So you said that the Bible, the Hebrew version doesn't. You don't believe that all God actually prophesied. God actually said that
the system will last forever. That's what it says. Jeremiah chapter 33.
Can you refer to? Okay.
Yeah, Jeremiah chapter 33 specifically says, when I go to verses, I believe it's 17 and 18, for thus says Yahweh, David shall never lack a man to sit on the throne of the house of Israel, and the Levitical priests shall never lack a man in my presence to offer burnt offerings, to burn cereal offerings, or to make sacrifices forever.
So those sacrifice. Okay, so that verse you said was where, brother? Because I want to go back and reread that verse.
Jeremiah.
Kind of like go back into the passage.
Jeremiah 33 verses 17 through 18.
Jeremiah 33 verses 17 to 18.
Yep, Jeremiah 33.
Okay, I will go back and reread that and listen to it. And I was going to say that if you don't, believe that Jesus, also you're saying that Jesus wasn't the Messiah, but you do believe and know that Jesus was spoken of in the Word, right?
No, Jesus.
So you believe that Jesus was this?
Jesus was not spoken of in the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament. He's only spoken about in the New Testament, and a lot of the things that's said about him probably aren't true.
Okay, so you just don't agree with the Bible, and you know the Bible, you have the Hebrew version, but you don't agree with all the context in it.
Yeah, no, the Bible is whack.
Well, I kind of understand why you may. I don't know why you. I'm sorry, may feel that it's not true, but I'm just going to be real and honest with you. I'm not going to lie.
Because the Bible contradicts itself on all these points. The authors of the New Testament consistently lie about what the Old Testament says in order to make it look like Jesus was the Messiah.
Well, I would say it's the complete opposite. Like the Old Testament was the fulfillment of the New Testament.
The Old Testament was lying.
What's the evidence?
If it was the opposite, the Old Testament would be lying.
The Old Testament is the fulfillment of the New Testament.
No, what's the evidence? Besides the fact that the New Testament makes that claim, if I go and read the Hebrew Bible for myself, it doesn't look like Jesus fulfilled any prophecies.
I was gonna say I will give you, I could give you many cases, but I'm not sure if you would, believe or if you if you agree with me on those things. But when Jesus prophesied that he would be betrayed,
I got a lot of people waiting, so I'm gonna let you give me one more prophecy and we'll discuss it.
Okay, so what about the prophecy in which was fulfilled, where they said the Messiah would suffer, but he would be betrayed? Where Jesus said that for very last time to you that one of you will betray me.
Where in the Hebrew Bible does it say the Messiah will be betrayed?
Like I said, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that. I don't go based off the Hebrew Bible.
The Old Testament. The Hebrew Bible is the Old Testament. Where in the Old Testament does it say the Messiah will be betrayed?
Oh, in the Old Testament. No, I'm saying in the New Testament, it prophesies that Jesus was betrayed.
Yeah, no, I don't care about what the New Testament says. Where does the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, prophesy that the Messiah will be betrayed?
I can't go exactly to the verse right now, but I hope I'll probably be able to tell you about it sometime.
Maybe next time, come a bit more prepared for this conversation. But Josiah, you have a wonderful day.
You have a good day too.
All right, W2K has been waiting for a little
At
bit.
least they were better than the guys before them.
Yeah, that's true. W2K, are you at least 18 years old? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns?
I am over 18. I'm a man, so I mean he, I guess he, him, and then am I a Christian? I believe in Jesus Christ.
So yes, you're a Christian. All right.
Yeah.
I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Hey, Ashlyn, do you mind looking at Luffy's profile?
Oh yeah, their follow list is a ton of young women that are scantily clad.
Yeah, just mute them for the
block them.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, W2K. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy.
Nice to meet you.
And I do not think Jesus was God or the Messiah or resurrected. Which of these 3 points would you like to discuss with us?
I just pick one?
Yeah, go ahead and pick one.
Oh, okay. I have a question for the first one real quick. When you said Jesus was not God, are you referring to him when he was here in physical form or just period?
At period. He is not he is not Yahweh, the God of Israel.
Okay, and I think we should probably talk about the third one. Jesus was not resurrected. Prove you wrong.
Yeah. What evidence do we have that Jesus was resurrected?
Physical, like there's physical evidence that Jesus was on the earth, that Jesus resurrected. The only evidence that I can think of right now would be that the tomb that he was buried in would be empty.
Where's his tomb?
Which one?
I couldn't tell you.
There are
there are tons.
There are 3 tombs that are said to be the tomb of Jesus, but we have no evidence that any of those 3 tombs are actually the tomb of Jesus. I'm not even convinced that Jesus was buried in a tomb. It was quite typical of crucifixion victims that they would be thrown in a mass grave with other crucifixion victims. So I don't.
But you believe he existed, though?
Yeah,
right?
He existed. He was killed by the Romans for running his mouth, and then he died, and that's the end of his story.
Okay, so you think his body is just nowhere to be found, is what you're saying, or they got burned or whatever?
He's probably bones by this point. The same as every crucifixion victim who got thrown into a mass grave.
Okay, so like you were saying earlier, you said that a lot of Christians don't look into the Bible as much as they should to have the information that they need. And I'm no different in that sense. Like, I'm trying to get into it. But my faith is more based on my own, like, interactions with God. The only interaction I ever had with God was, and it's more of a testimony in a sense.
We don't do personal testimony here.
I understand that.
Because
I understand that. Yeah. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so we can just skip that part because your personal testimony cannot be evidence for me because I didn't personally experience it. So do we have any like third party anything that's independently corroborated that can demonstrate to me that Jesus was resurrected?
Independently corroborated. What does that mean?
Meaning that I can just go out and verify it for myself.
Oh, okay. I don't think so. I think that's the whole point of having faith in a creator.
Sounds pretty.
I don't.
Sounds like.
I don't think there's evidence, like physical evidence, especially at this point in time. Besides all the evidence that they have that Jesus existed,
sounds like
and whatever other things.
I don't know what I'd say. All that evidence that they have that Jesus existed. That's a little hyperbolic, if we're being honest.
Yeah. And why is that?
Well,
it's not part of the conversation. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. So faith is not very good.
I mean,
I care about what's true, and I don't think faith is a good mechanism for getting to the truth.
Well, if you're believing in a God, that's the whole point. You can't see it or feel him.
I want to know. I want to believe in things that are true, though, and I need a mechanism that's like reliable for getting to the truth. Faith is not a good mechanism.
So you just don't believe anything in the Bible, period? Like when you say Jesus is real, what information do you believe about his life to be true?
That he was that he existed and that he was crucified by the leaders of Israel under Pontius Pilate, and that's pretty much all I believe about him.
So you don't believe any of the like stuff that is claimed to have happened in his life while he was here?
No.
Besides the fact that he got crucified?
No. W2K, can you tell me what Dalton said 5 sentences ago verbatim?
You broke up a little bit. What was the question?
Yeah, your internet, you've got low bars. Can you remember what Dalton said 5 sentences ago verbatim?
How would I remember what Dalton said 5 minutes ago verbatim?
I agree with you. You can't do it. So why should I believe a document that doesn't have known authors that were written decades upon decades upon decades after Jesus was supposedly?
I'm not telling you to believe the document. I agree with what you guys are doing.
We have outside evidence to corroborate that Jesus existed, or at least somewhat. I would say there's minimal historicity is what we generally take. But why should I believe the rest of what it says, especially when it's claiming things like miracles, like you walked on water, turned water into wine, turned all these things, made more bread than it was actually there, all those stories. So why should I believe any of these stories when you don't have any evidence for them? We barely have enough evidence to suggest that Jesus exists.
So I feel like you guys are saying that we don't have that much evidence about a man that existed a very long time ago. So the evidence that we do have compared to the time that he existed 3,000 years ago is substantial.
2,000 years.
How many?
2,000.
Yeah, my bad.
No, I don't.
You're right. My bad.
I don't want to have a conversation on his minimal historicity. I want to have a conversation about what we know about what Jesus did and said. And the answer is a big fat goose egg, because all we have are the Gospels, and the Gospels make claims, they contradict each other, and there's no outside evidence to corroborate their stories. So the best that we have is just leaning towards minimal historicity, that he was alive, he may have been a charismatic leader, and that's it. But the rest of the story, we have no reason to believe it unless you have some evidence that we're missing. Do you have any evidence?
You're asking someone who wasn't alive during Jesus' time for physical evidence. You're trying to have like a sign.
Any good evidence of his resurrection. Any good evidence.
Yeah.
I thought you. Okay, so he got crucified, but he didn't resurrect. That's what you said. Okay, my bad.
Lots of people got crucified. None of them resurrected.
Yeah, and that's not a crazy claim, especially if he was doing the things.
The crucifixion was a norm. It was a normal way to be put to death at the time.
Yeah, if he was claiming also to be the Messiah, to be a king during this time period, they would have good reasons to 86 him from the planet. The Romans, that is.
Yeah. Those same Romans, did they ever? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking because you guys know all the scriptures. Did they ever firsthand experience any of Jesus' miracles? I can't remember.
We don't have any evidence of it. No.
Okay. I don't think there is, in a sense, physical evidence besides what you guys are saying is not enough in order to prove God.
I mean, all we have for evidence of Jesus' resurrection are people who were his followers claiming that he, quote, appeared to them after he died. But we have completely naturalistic explanations for those appearances.
You might be right. I'm not sure, but from what I remember, yes, his followers, so a few of his disciples, and then, I mean, this is the Bible claiming. I don't know if you guys care about it, but they said there was 500 other eyewitnesses, and
the problem with the 500 is that, first and foremost, we don't know any of their names. We don't have.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was getting to a different point. I was more referring to the evidence, like the physical evidence of Jesus existing that they found in that area. Like,
sure,
let's say
I agree he existed. We just don't have any evidence that he resurrected from the dead.
Do you know if we put together all the pieces of the cross that people claim to be a part of Jesus, we'd have more than one whole cross?
I don't know. But
we don't have. I'm trying to say though, there's no outside evidence that has been shown to be Jesus's. I mean, the people claim the shroud. The shroud's been disproven. People claim they have the tomb. There's a ton of different tombs that are claimed. There's more than actually 3, Dalton, but there's 3 main ones. And then like all these things. We cannot point this back to Jesus because there were thousands upon thousands of people who were crucified during this time period. So I don't know. Unless you have a piece of evidence, we certainly don't.
The cross reference that you just made doesn't, in my opinion, hold any weight, because I feel like you can just find pieces of wood and put them together.
That's the point she's making.
That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree in that sense, but like I said earlier, I know you guys don't want to hear it, but that's what my faith is built off of, is what I experienced. So before I experienced that as a child, when I grew up, I was questioning God. I didn't take what I experienced as truth either.
W2K.
Yeah.
No offense, but we just simply
don't care. I know.
Care about the personal experience stuff. We're only here to ask for why we should believe any of these three things are true about Jesus.
So that's my point. The only way I can explain it is giving you why I believe it.
Independence that's independent, not reasons why you should believe it. Why should I believe it? And your personal experience is not a reason why I should believe anything.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm telling you why I believe it, because that's the only way that I can.
Okay, but I'm asking for reasons why I should believe it.
W2K, do you have evidence? If not, we've got 4 people in the guest request, and if you don't have any evidence, I mean, that's fine. You had your experience. I don't think that justifies our belief in any of these claims.
So why are you guys so interested in this? I like the idea.
I think
you guys.
I find studying mythology to be fun.
Okay, and so to y'all, Jesus is not God. Jesus was just a man who died and he never came back.
Correct.
Okay. Well, hopefully, maybe one day that idea can change for y'all. But no, I do not have any concrete evidence that Jesus existed that I can present to you today. No, sir, and no, ma'am.
All right, W2K. Well, thank you for coming out.
All right, God bless y'all. Nice talking to you.
And critically think for you. W for the honesty on that one, though, guys. W2K for the honesty.
Everyone, make sure to tap that screen, and we're gonna move on to the next guest.
Let me do. Please tap the screen, share out the live, repost, and if you can, actually, I need to do that. Send a heart me. If you've got the coin laying around, we would really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm, and we appreciate y'all being here.
All right, we're gonna move on to Rem Harmsworth. Rem, are you at least 18 years old? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns? Let's see, they're still loading in. Aaron says, tapping is clapping. Clap that, Dalton. Thank you for the origami. For the paper crane. That's what it's called.
The origami. Thank you, TikTokers.
Well, it looks like
they're not loading in.
Yeah, it looks like they're not able to load in. We'll give them a couple more minutes, and if they don't, then we'll just move on to the next guest. Pharisees unalive Jesus, not Pilate. No, not the Pharisees. The Pharisees didn't kill Jesus. It was the Romans.
Piglet. I didn't know Piglet had a mouth like that.
Say what?
Piglet said I'd like to tap that mouth.
Oh, gee whiz.
I think they were referring to you, Dalton.
Well, here's your opportunity. Let's see. Yeah, the whole ancient Rome is pretty cool, yes. The idea that the Pharisees unalive Jesus, not Pilate, is probably bordering on you're working towards anti-Semitism, so I would watch your step, bud. Yeah, no, Truth Digger.
Oh,
it doesn't matter.
My Bible got here.
It doesn't matter if Pilate washed his hands of the whole thing. No, he still made the call. And the Romans were the one who made Jesus carry his patibulum. The Romans were the one who hoisted him up on the cross, and it was the Romans who drove the nails into his palm. You can sit there and blame Jewish people all day long, but at the end of the day, the Romans killed Jesus. Get wrecked.
Are you going to let another guest up?
Yeah, I was waiting for the other person to, but here we go. Angie's room.
Okay, I'll be back in 2 seconds. My package came.
Okay. Angie's room. Are you at least 18? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns?
Hi, yeah. How are you? My name's Angie. I'm 33, and yes, I'm a believer.
And your pronouns?
She, her.
All right, Angie, she, her. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I do not believe Jesus was God or the Messiah or resurrected from the dead. Which one of these would you like to discuss with me?
I guess number one.
Sure. Why should I think that Jesus was God?
Well, I'm definitely interested. Like, your channel doesn't really like say or show a lot about you, but I want to sort of like lead into the conversation with like that I am a student at the University of Iowa, and I've studied anthropology, and now I'm getting my master's in education. And so one of the core concepts of anthropology is oral evidence, and I am wondering what your opinion is on that, because I totally respect your point of view on how you want evidence, but in anthropology, oral evidence is very critical. So when you have hundreds, thousands of years, different cultures reiterating and retelling a story in very different ways, as you have explained, and to a lot of the guests I've kind of heard you. You can't, basically, if you're an anthropologist, you cannot ignore oral evidence. So I just thought maybe that's something that could like open your mind up a little.
Well, when it comes to oral evidence, it seems like there were lots of different stories that were passed down about Jesus, and some of them contradict each other. Like, there are at least 2 different nativity stories about Jesus that don't in any way correlate to one another. So, sure, were there oral traditions about Jesus circulating in the ancient world? Sure. Do those oral traditions accurately represent what Jesus said and did? I don't think so, because the Gospels don't correlate with one another.
I mean, are you like at all? You don't think they correlate at all? Because when
I'll say that Matthew and Luke definitely used the Gospel of Mark and copied some of its portions in order to write their Gospels, but they also say things which are just in complete contradiction to one another.
And I agree. I haven't read the entire Bible, and I can't compare it to the Quran or any other religions, because I just simply don't have the time, and my career isn't focused in that. But it's just interesting when that the concept of oral evidence is sort of like thrown out the window, because without oral evidence, like, you cannot define culture. And so it's just kind of sad to like see and hear people ignore that part. Like, that is, I think it's evidence.
I'm not denying that there are oral traditions about Jesus. Those oral traditions just don't agree with each other. Like, we have a tradition about Jesus that says that he was born during the reign of King Herod the Great. And we have another tradition about that he was born 10 years later during the census of Quirinius. Those are both traditions about Jesus that were passed on until they were written down, but they both can't be true.
Right. And just like the King James Version, and even like during the Crusades, or like, I'm a total feminist, so every single story that was about a woman leader was taken out of the Bible. These are all examples that are like, it was really manipulated. It was.
You're a feminist, but you think that the Bible's good?
I never said that. I said that Jesus, that I was arguing with, number one. I wasn't. The Bible isn't in that.
So maybe we need to focus on number one then. Then why should we think Jesus was God?
Right, because of oral evidence.
Jesus was God.
Right, because of oral evidence.
What oral
evidence? Throughout different cultures, different religions, it all, sort of.
There's only
I mean, the Quran, Christianity, the Greek Bible.
There's only two religions that talk about Jesus, really, and that's Christianity and Islam. And Islam denies that Jesus was God.
I believe that's incorrect.
They would that would be considered haram, and you would probably be executed or deeply punished in Islam if you made the declaration that that Jesus was Allah. That would be absolutely blasphemy in Islam.
I want to come in with you. All right, just a second. Sorry, guys, I have my kiddos out the door. Just a second. All right.
I got Muslims all the time coming on TikTok telling me that Jesus was not God and that it's blasphemy within Islam, and that is correct within the Quran. It absolutely says that God has no partners. He has never begotten. It denies that Jesus was the Son of God. It denies that he died on the cross. It denies that he is Allah. So yeah, the Quran doesn't help us get to the conclusion that Jesus was God.
Well, I'm not saying that it proves it. I'm just saying that it's just part of oral history, oral evidence, like as world history, right? As
I don't. Sorry, I don't know if they wrote it down or they said it. These are just still claims. I don't care. They could have I don't know, sent each other bat signals or smoke signals. Excuse me. It still doesn't change that it's just a claim. What is the evidence for this?
Right, and that's my point, right? It's oral evidence or like basically as an anthropologist, when you're basically defining a culture, that oral evidence, which is a claim, right?
The early Christians never believed that Jesus was God, and the Quran doesn't make that claim about him.
Well, I was under the speculation that the Quran and even that Jewish people had a reckoning with that Jesus did exist, but he wasn't the Messiah, but that
there was a reference to Jesus, a Jesus within the Talmud, although it's probably not Jesus of Nazareth. It was probably Jesus ben Stada, who lived 100 years before the time of Jesus. And again, the Quran it denies that Jesus is God, and again, also the New Testament doesn't make the claim that Jesus is God. So the oral evidence doesn't lend itself to the belief that Jesus was God.
But wouldn't you agree though that it's of course it's debated, and the Bible has been rewritten and manipulated in so many different ways. It's just kind of hard to deny that. Why would someone have such an impact?
Yeah, because you studied anthropology, right? Why is it that the Crusades happened, the 700 Years' War? What about the Americas and the Spanish and the English, the Dutch?
Right. When you go into the Salem witch trials, when you go into the history of slavery, for you to see that Jesus was not God, it's basically telling them, hey, you cannot do this.
No. So as an anthropologist, and I kind of have a field that borderlines on this. When we look at a culture, you don't have to accept the claims to understand that all sorts of cultures had different beliefs about their deities or their philosophies. It doesn't mean you have to accept them, and you know that other cultures existed with different beliefs that clearly contradict each other. So I don't know why you're using this as a claim or as evidence to support your claim when it was very clear that a lot of people believed a lot of different things. And this one was just one of the highest level popularity contest, but there are many different reasons for that, right? One was by the sword. The other was just that it was probably charismatic in the way that Paul taught it. You didn't have to obey all the Jewish traditions as well, like circumcision. No one wants to cut off the tip of their penis. I don't have one, but I'm just assuming. So why is it the case that you're coming up with this as evidence when you're just appealing to a popularity contest? That's all you're doing, is you're like, a lot of people believed it, therefore it's true. Like, so a lot of people believed the earth was flat at one point.
And I totally get where you're coming from. It's just when you take a look at the impact, right? Because it's all speculation. There is no evidence. So
stop right there. We agree. Nice concession.
I know that
there is no evidence. Thank you.
But depending on the culture, you have to acknowledge.
Okay, Angie.
That they.
Angie. Mm-hmm. Why should I think Jesus was God? Don't just talk about vagueness about oral tradition. Give me the exact evidence.
Sorry, guys. I can't convince you, and I shouldn't. And that's sort of what you're asking me. All I wanted to come on here was just kind of give you a look into, like, when you're looking at cultures. I don't know where you're from or how you grew up.
Do you believe the Romans' oral tradition about Romulus and Remus? That Romulus and Remus were born of the gods Mars, that they were raised by wolves, that Romulus was killed by the Senate, and that he ascended into heaven and appeared to his followers at a later time. Do you believe this oral tradition?
Well, see, that's where I go into culture, right? Like, it's fair to acknowledge someone's culture. It's unfair to ask them to prove you wrong.
No, it is.
Are you just coming up here to tell us this? And tone police, yeah. Angie's, we're part of the culture. We can critique our own fucking culture, dude. And not only that, it has real world consequences. And even within anthropology, when it's a human rights violation, you say, hey, I do have a moral standing on this. When it comes down to like genital mutilation, you absolutely take a stance on that. I had to take anthropology when I took my humanities and my intellectual foundations. I'm very familiar that anthropology does take stances, and we have a belief that Christianity absolutely is a harmful practice in certain degrees within society. And I think that there's a moral obligation to believe in true things rather than untrue things.
So, are you not going to provide evidence for any of the three propositions about me?
Well, like I said, I think it's fair to give that culture.
I don't care. Don't come up here and tone police for like 20 minutes and pretend that you actually like care. Like you're just a Christian that wanted to take this approach and like thought we were uneducated. Anthropology does not hold these positions, by the way.
I will 100% critique the Israelites for what they believed. All right, Jose, are you at least 18? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns?
Hi, checking my mic's on. Yeah, hi. My name's Jose. I'm over 18. Yeah, I'm a Christian, and he, him. Yeah.
He, him. All right, Jose, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't think Jesus was God, or that he was the Messiah, or that he resurrected. Why should I believe any of these three things? You can pick one.
Okay, I think I'll go with Jesus was not God.
All right, why should I think Jesus was God?
So I have two, I guess, kind of high-level points. One is that it stemmed from the Bible, and then the two is some physical observations. So I guess I can ask you if you want me to go into one or the other, or
yeah, I'll start with the Bible.
How do you want it? Okay. So one of the things is that we're sort of reliant on the, I guess, the historical backing of. We're sort of reliant on the, I guess, the historical backing of this piece of literature, the Bible. It's the one of the most, I guess, backed, documented, and I mean, as far as we can go. So going to Dead Sea Scrolls, and
it's not historically backed.
I mean, but it's. I mean, you have the Dead Sea Scrolls, right, and the
Dead Sea Scrolls.
Sinaiticus, and
the only thing the Dead Sea Scrolls add to the conversation is that it shows that the Hebrew Bible was meticulously copied, but it doesn't tell me that it's backed up in history.
Yeah, I mean, at least to like 70 AD, right?
The Mark was written 70 AD, around 70 AD, sure.
Yeah, so we're kind of reliant on that, but going through the historical context of that, it's also a history book of the nation of Israel, right? Like the Iron Age of Israel.
It's a mythic history about Israel. It probably doesn't reflect the actual history of Israel.
Well, I mean, the Iron Age of Israel did exist, right? Like,
yeah, well, yes, but they weren't like the descendants of a man named Abraham.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely an extension of faith. The furthest I can go back is the back in the land of Canaan, when it was the Canaanites. There was several letters to the from the different cities of Jericho, sending cuniform letters to
the Armada letters
to Egypt, right?
Yeah, it mentions the Israelites.
The
Israelites. The Israelites were a people group among the Canaanites. They were just another group of Canaanites at this point in history.
Yeah, and you can call them Canaanites, Phoenician, right? Like it's that category. I agree with that. But so there was a tribe leaving. The story is leaving Egypt.
How does this get us to any of the 3 points above my head?
Sure. So then it goes into the book of Genesis, talking about. Oh no! Wait, I'll go into the Messiah point because I wanted that one too. But that's as far as like we have some textual and historical evidence that there was a Hebrew tribe. There was probably a Moses or a Joshua. There definitely was a Joshua because of the altar, right?
No.
There's altars
I don't think Moses or Joshua existed.
I could share. I mean, I could share with you some archaeological altars.
Did Moses? Did Moses write about his own death?
But it doesn't even matter because why are we talking about Joshua and Moses?
No, I don't think
we're here to talk about whether or not Jesus was God or the Messiah or that he resurrected. We need to stay on point.
So sorry, you're right. Or should I answer Ashley's question? I can do. That's all right. Either one.
No, move on to the topic.
Okay. So going into the Babylonian captivity, the book of Daniel was written about some prophecies during that time, right? Mm-hmm. About the king of Persia releasing the kingdom of Judah back into Judea, right? Mm-hmm. So he said 70 times of
so you
7.
Want to talk to Daniel chapter 9?
Yeah, Daniel chapter 9. Yeah.
70 times 7 is 490 years. So 490 years from the going forth of the word to rebuild in Jerusalem until the coming of the unanointed one, is 490 years. So when was the declaration to rebuild Jerusalem?
I think it was during the reign of Xerxes. I wish I had all my notes.
Not Xerxes. It wasn't Xerxes.
I thought it was Xerxes.
It was Cyrus.
Yeah, Cyrus. Sorry. Yeah. Right. So I think that's pretty good timing towards the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, right?
No. So Cyrus gave his declaration for the actual the release edict of the Jewish people was the year 538 BCE. So if we take 538 BCE and we take 490 years later, what do we get to? We get to year 48 BCE, which was before Jesus was even born.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. And you also would agree that there were several edicts of different kings saying that the Jews will go back to their kingdom, right?
But the one that's being spoken of here by Daniel is the decree of Cyrus.
Yeah, I recognize that. But it's still pretty close to Christ and the Second Temple, right?
I think it's over
prophetic.
It's over 40 years before Jesus was ever born, according to Matthew, at least.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, and because we disagree about the different king edicts, right? So with the King Cyrus,
Daniel 9:25 says, "Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the word to restore and build Jerusalem, the word to restore and to build Jerusalem." This is in accordance with the fulfillment of the prophecy given by Jeremiah, right? That's what Daniel is praying about, correct?
Right.
Now, what does the book of Ezra say in the very first verses? In the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of Yahweh by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, so that he might make a proclamation throughout all his kingdom. So the declaration... and the declaration is this: Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, Yahweh, the God of the heaven, has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. So the declaration of the going forth to rebuild the city of Jerusalem, spoken of here in Daniel chapter 9, is the declaration of Cyrus, which was made in 538 BCE, which 490 years later, if you're going to use the 490 years spoken of here by Daniel, doesn't get you to the time of Jesus.
Right, but Nehemiah does, right, with Artaxerxes the first.
But Artaxerxes is not the one who gave the word to build Jerusalem. Like the book of Ezra explicitly tells you that this word spoken of here is the one given by Cyrus. That Cyrus's proclamation was the one that fulfilled the words of the prophet Jeremiah.
I'll concede this point to you about like Cyrus and Artaxerxes and Ezra and Nehemiah. So I'm sure there was different prophets who disagreed which king it was, but I still think it's pretty interesting about the 430 years. But that's it. But like you say, it's 100 years off because they mentioned Cyrus. I get that point. I don't know that one either, but that's one point. And then the second point is that when Jesus does show up at his time, he was crucified exactly in the manner of the way that he was prophesied to be.
Where?
Right? About the vinegar, the piercing on the side, not breaking a bone.
Where in the Hebrew Bible was the crucifixion prophesied?
No, not the crucifixion, the dying, right? And piercing on the side.
Where was it prophesied?
Sure. In the book of Psalms, let me get
Psalm 22?
Yeah, if you know it, then you know it. I have to search.
Psalm 22 isn't a prophecy.
Oh, that's the why have you forsaken me, right?
Yeah, the Psalms aren't prophecies; they're just songs, and the psalmist tells us explicitly that the psalm is written to the choir master, according to the Hind of the Dawn, a psalm for David. This is about King David.
Yeah. Well, they never pierced his hands and feet, right?
But the text doesn't say they pierced my hands and my feet. That's just a mistranslation. Right. Your translation says says something to the effect of, "Dogs have surrounded me, a company of evildoers have encircled me, they pierced my hands and my feet." But the original Hebrew doesn't say they pierced my hands and my feet. It says "Ka'ari yadai ve'raglai," which means like a lion at my hands and feet.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna follow you guys because it's asking me. So yeah, I see what that is, but you know, I think we're kind of blending in the prophetic interpretation of Scripture, which happens across all the Old Testament, New Testament. But I'll concede that point too.
I don't believe that the Psalms are just Psalms.
Well, in Genesis, right, it says that the seed of the woman will crush the head of the snake.
Yeah, humans do that all the time. The seed of the woman is Eve. Her seed is human beings. The seed of the serpent are other serpents, and human beings often crush the head of serpents when they step on them.
Right, but that's like also poetry, right? So that one
No.
is that if you read the paragraph, right, the structure of it is that it's a poem.
Yeah, it's an ideology. It's an ideology used to explain why it is humans and snakes are in contention with one another.
With spiritual, right? Because snakes don't talk either, right?
Well, in mythology,
I mean, it's the mythology, right?
Yeah, in myths, animals do talk. The Book of Numbers says that God made a donkey talk to Balaam. So no, this is just a talking snake, a walking talking snake, and it's a myth used to give explanation to a couple of different phenomena in human culture. Like, why is it that men rule over women? Why do women struggle in birth? Why do men work hard in the field? Why do snakes and humans not get along? This is just a story that's been used to give explanation to all these phenomena.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. So I could see those points about the Daniel 9 prophecy, about the oldest books, about the kingdom of Israel, about the book of Genesis. Maybe we want to go to the physical observations, and then.
Sure. What physical observation would lead me to believe that Jesus was either God or the Messiah or that he resurrected?
Okay. So the first one I think I want to go to. Do you know the software of Stellarium?
The software what?
Stellarium.
How do you spell it?
Stellaarun.
ARUN. No, Stellarium. I don't know. It's astronomy software.
Yeah, astronomy software.
All right.
Oh, I know what this is.
Yeah, it's like I have it on Linux. It's pretty cool. Like when you can't see this, guys. But so on September 11th, 3 BC, there was sun in Virgo, the crescent moon at the Virgo's feet, and like 12 different stars.
Oh boy! Except for according to the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus wasn't born in 3 BCE.
No, I understand, but the three magistrates were seeking a sign for the child, and Jesus was born like not just as an infant, but as he grew up to like about 5 years old.
Yeah, according to the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus was born sometime between 6 to 4 BCE.
Hmm. Well, so they were following the astronomical sign, right? Like
around 6 to 4 BCE.
They were looking for him when though?
Yeah.
After he would have been like one or so, right around the time that the three wise men were seeking after him. He would have been older, but it still would have been way out of date with that in both accounts, in Matthew and Luke's accounts, because it would have had to been 4 BCE or what is it, 4 to 6. Yes, or 6 CE.
But he's just talking about the story about the star, which is specifically Matthew, and the wise men are following the star sometime between 6 to 4 BCE, not 3 BCE. That's a whole year too late.
Yeah, and I get that, right? Like it's slightly off, but
and also like Ashton just pointed out, according to Luke, Jesus wasn't even born in that time. He was born 10 years later.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that. Maybe you can share it later. But that's one of the physical observations. And then my next one is, I kind of have to ask you questions.
That physical observation doesn't tell us anything, though. All it tells us that there was a astronomical event that took place at least 2 to 3 years after Jesus was born, according to the Gospel of Matthew.
Sure. Okay. I mean, I accept that, right? Like it's slightly off, but. My next point. Well, okay. Oh yeah. So I have some questions. So you don't believe in God, right? You don't believe. Are you atheist or agnostic or?
Atheist.
Atheist. Okay. So you don't believe in any supernatural phenomena like poltergeist or
nope.
things like that.
No.
I'm a methodological naturalist, and I don't see how belief in ghosts is going to get me to one of the 3 points above my head. Because even if I believe in ghosts, I still wouldn't believe these 3 points.
Yeah, it's basically bridging that there's a spiritual world was where I was going with it, right? But so And then people claim that they have evidences with devices, electromagnetic phenomena, right? Different voices.
We need to stay on topic. The question is whether or not Jesus was God, whether or not he was the Messiah, whether or not he resurrected from the dead.
No, okay. So, what is your criteria for and not talking about ghosts, but what is your criteria for accepting something supernatural occurred? Because it acts on the natural, right? And you don't see it; it's invisible.
Yeah, well, it would have been if supernatural occurs within reality, it would kind of default to the natural.
Right.
So
well, that's exactly my point. So, how are you? What's and this is not like I got you. It's just like, what is your criteria for something not natural or without causality?
Why are we talking? Why are we talking about this?
Yeah, like how does this?
God is supernatural, right?
Yeah.
So, this doesn't show that Jesus was God. Jesus wasn't the Messiah, or that he resurrected. None of these things do.
When I say Jesus was not God, I don't just mean that
Jesus wasn't the Messiah, or that he resurrected. None of these things do.
When I say Jesus was not God, I don't just mean that God doesn't exist, therefore Jesus was God. I mean the claim is that the authors of the New Testament are not making that claim for Jesus, that he was God.
Okay. So Jesus healed, right? And Jesus rose from the dead.
Sure.
And Jesus walked on water.
Yeah, so.
Right?
Those are miracles that God gave Jesus the authority and ability to do. That doesn't tell me that Jesus is God. Moses performed miracles. Elijah raised the dead once. Moses parted the Red Sea and walked through the sea. And they both performed healings, but they weren't God.
Right, but he was the only one to resurrect, right? Like no one resurrected him.
Well, God resurrected
the firstborn of the... Yeah.
According to the text. But again, that doesn't tell me that he's God. At best, what this gets you is that he's like the Son of God.
Well, I mean, I know you're very familiar with like the Old Testament, but there's more than one God. There's Elohim, the sons of God, right? Like the angels, the divine council, Satan.
There's like Baal and Mot and Chemosh and Asherah, all kinds of gods, sure.
Right. So Jesus can be God, right?
Well, he can be he can be in the category of like deity or divinity, but he's not when I say Jesus is not God, I mean he's not Yahweh, the God of Israel.
Yeah, we call that God the Father, right?
Yeah, he's not Yahweh.
So, and then I think I'll leave this one last slide, and I'd like to come back to that because I like your guys' platform and I'm having fun. So, I'll leave this last one. But, are you Hebrew? Are you Jewish?
No, I'm a Gentile.
Oh, okay. Do you know what the pictography of Yahweh is? Like if you put the letters to the...
No, that's not true. That's not how Hebrew alphabet works. The pictures... The ancient pictures for Hebrew don't equal words. They equal sounds. The letter Yud looks like a hand, not because it means hand. It's not a hieroglyphic language. The hand symbolizes a sound, not a word. The hand, which in Hebrew the word for hand is yad. Therefore, the reason you have the word yad, the picture of a yad there, is because the yod makes a y sound. I know you've heard the saying that yud he vav he means behold the hand, behold, nail behold. It doesn't mean that.
Right.
The letters don't carry the meaning of words. They carry the sounds.
Well, I mean, Paleo Hebrew does. Like Aleph is the bull. That's why they worship the bull.
Aleph has a picture of an ox head because the word for ox is aluf, makes an ah sound. Therefore, you use the picture of a bull to symbolize not the letter Aleph doesn't mean bull. It means ah. That's why the pictures don't represent words. They represent sounds. That's not how pictographic Hebrew works.
Okay. Yeah. We'll agree to disagree, but
no, you don't agree to disagree. You're just factually wrong. This is not how ancient pictographic Hebrew worked.
Okay. So I think we went through a couple of the evidences, like supernatural, the name, but you disagree. But the timing, right? The September 11th, 3 BC, the Bible, the ages of Israel,
none of this
also the
points me
tribal
to
Hebrew.
Yeah, none of this
right?
points me to Jesus being God, the Messiah, or resurrected from the dead.
It's pretty strong evidence, though, isn't it?
It's weak.
No.
You literally conceded to me every single point that you made was wrong. So no, it's not good. It's not strong evidence. It's hardly evidence at all.
Not even the stars aligning or the supernatural.
because that was a whole 2 years after Jesus was born.
No, it was more than that because they would have been looking for him later on. So Herod orders the boys in Bethlehem to be 2 years and old and under based on the timing from that Magi. So he would have been between 6 and 18 months old. So he probably would have been a year. So it's even further. And Matthew's timeline puts him, 6 CE, right?
6 BCE to
6
4
BCE to 4 BCE. So it would have been a year after Matthew's timeline. So it doesn't even make sense.
Okay. I'd say at least it's better than Muhammad or...
No.
But
they're all bad.
Yeah.
If you're like, okay, well, at least this pile of shit isn't as large as the other pile of shit. Like, no, they all contradict each other. They all don't have evidence for them. Like, you're just picking the largest pile of shit.
I mean, if you call this a pile of shit, I don't think you'll ever find any evidence.
Well, no, because
I mean,
don't have evidence.
Well, I mean, we go on live for hours a day asking people for evidence. So I think that if anyone's going to be closer to finding evidence, Jose, I think it's going to be us.
So Israel did exist. The Bible did exist. There was supernatural.
Yeah, Israel existed, but they weren't. Again, this has nothing to do with any of the 3 points above my head.
Yeah, well, Jesus is God, and the Word of God is the beginning. Is the Word of God, right? And He is the Word.
Jose, I am God. Disprove me. I mean, you can't. I have the same amount of evidence that you do.
And also, John 1:1 doesn't make the claim.
But you don't have a book and a whole nation behind the history.
It doesn't matter, Jose. John 1:1 doesn't
I prophesied.
It's more evidence, right?
No, it's not evidence at all. We have no good reason to think Jesus was God.
Okay, well, you guys aren't being fair now.
No, I am being fair. You haven't presented us with any good evidence.
I think I did, but
no, I struck down every single claim.
I'll let you guys go. I'll let you guys have other guests. It's okay. We'll disagree, but thanks for having me. I'll see you guys again in another life. Thank you.
Actually, Elias is God based on these claims because Elias is Palestinian. He's Canaanite.
So
he fulfilled prophecy.
Literally every point he brought up, he conceded to them. So okay, I'll just agree. Yeah, like he conceded to every single point. All right, Cephas.
I got it.
New Bible
check.
Cephas House. Are you at least 18? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns?
Him.
All right, and are you 18 or are you a Christian?
I'm over 18, and I believe I'm an Israelite.
But are you a Christian? Do you believe Jesus was the Messiah, the Son of God?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. I do not think that Jesus was God or the Messiah or resurrected.
Let's see. Well, I think I heard you guys discuss it a little bit, but I know you guys really like times and dates.
Well,
would you guys like to?
Only when they get brought up, but only.
Okay.
But make sure that we stay on topic with the 3 points above my head.
Yes, I would like to.
But only.
Okay.
But make sure that we stay on topic with the 3 points above my head.
Yes, I would like to stay on topic.
Pick one of these three. Which one of these three would you like to talk about?
Well, let's start with number 2.
All right.
The Messiah.
Jesus
right?
was not the Messiah.
What is your definition of the Messiah?
Mashiach is the anointed king of Israel, the one who is prophesied in the Hebrew Bible. And Jesus didn't fulfill a single Hebrew prophecy from the Hebrew Bible, therefore he's not the Messiah.
Okay, so you're basing the fact that he's not the Messiah because you said he did not fulfill any prophecies?
Yeah, he didn't fulfill any prophecies of the Messiah.
Do you believe King David was a prophet? Well, how about this? But let me word it better. Do you believe that the men of Israel were prophets?
I don't believe in prophets, but for the sake of this argument, I'll pretend like I believe in the Hebrew Bible.
Okay. Well, just for that we can be on a common ground, I do not speak Hebrew, nor do I pretend to. I only speak English. So, are you familiar with the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary?
No.
Okay, well, it talks about the King James Bible, and it talks about how it was compiled from the best scholars.
Oh, no. The King James is a bad translation.
Brother.
Well, it's not. I mean, I'm not to discredit or try to raise up King James. What I'm trying to say is that the scriptures were deciphered from some of the best speakers in the world at that time.
No, the King
so
James,
I would like. So if we may, for the sake of our conversation, I would like to use the King James Bible.
No. Oh God, absolutely not.
No, I would.
I've heard you guys read verses from the King James Bible.
The only thing we use.
No, we haven't.
The only thing we use for the King James version around here is toilet paper. It's not a good translation. It doesn't match the Hebrew.
So I have a King James Bible. I have an NIV as well. I also have the NRSVUE, but it's not a translation that I use when I want to look at the Hebrew, the Aramaic, or the Greek accurately. It's only when discussing the differences between the Bibles.
Okay, and so I do want to get to you guys' point, but I do have another question. In your guys' expertise, what would you say would be the closest English version to the Hebrew Bible? If I wanted to use one,
the NRSVUE.
A Christian translation would be the NRSVUE, but even a better translation would be the New Jewish Publication Society translation.
Okay, so Mrs. Ashley, you said you had an NRSEV Bible.
NRSVUE, New Revised Standard Version, Updated Edition. Yeah.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, do you have it with you?
Yeah, you can also, you have access to all of these too. You have BibleGateway.com, but yeah, I can pull.
I just wanted to see if Matthew 18 and verse 11 is in that Bible.
If it's not,
yeah,
if it's not,
Matthew 8
is out.
Well, there's a reason.
Matthew
for that.
18 is 11 is in here.
I
know that it is.
If there is a passage which is not found in newer Bible translations, but is in the King James version, more than likely it's because the oldest Greek manuscripts do not contain that verse, which is why these Bibles take them out.
Oh wait, maybe it's. I thought
there?
It was. I said 10, 11 isn't. Okay, 12 is okay. So 11 isn't. I was reading through and I see 10. I just didn't realize that they actually skip 11.
Yeah, that's because prior to the 4th century, there are no Greek manuscripts that contain Matthew 18:11. We have 2 manuscripts, number 1 and 3, dated from both within the.
Oh, you pulled up that.
Yeah, they neither of them contain the verse.
But it doesn't normally.
Well, I don't have the average King James Bible.
The original what Bible?
I'm sorry.
I never
that
realized
was my speaker turning off. The battery died.
But anyways, this is. I don't know why. I don't.
Yeah,
know,
it's
I have a
off.
1611.
Here, I don't know why we're talking. I don't know why we're talking about this.
It's only the only reason why I didn't want to use I was asking about the translations because I wanted to make sure that we were working on the same grounds. When it comes to the Messiah, I
work with the original Hebrew.
I know. You like the original Hebrew?
Yeah. So you can go and look for this for yourself, and then we'll get back on conversation. Something called Center for New Testament Restoration. You can log on. Oh, thank you, Luna, and look and see why exactly we're saying this. We don't have the oldest manuscript for this. That's why we're not going to use that. Is because it doesn't show up until 375 to 425.
Also, W for the Ian raid. Thank you for the Ian raid. So, guest, why should I think Jesus was the Messiah when he didn't fulfill any prophecies? Do you have any examples of prophecies that he did fulfill?
Well, yes. Can you perhaps maybe go to Psalms chapter 132 and verse 11?
Psalm 132.
I like it out of the King James version, but for the sake of the studying, can we maybe hear it out of your Hebrew version? But can we hear it in English, because I speak English.
Let's see.
I'm sorry, what was that again? What verse?
Psalms chapter 132 and verse 11.
Let's see.
What verse?
Psalms chapter 132 and verse 11.
Let's see. Which he did. King Solomon.
That was also talking about Christ.
No, Jesus never sat on a throne in Israel. He didn't sit on any throne, David.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Here. Let me just save you a lot of time then. Don't bring up any prophecies that Jesus hasn't yet fulfilled, because then it's not a fulfilled prophecy. Let's go with prophecies that he actually has fulfilled.
Let's just look at it from a common sense perspective. How did he get into the matrix of a woman?
Through fucking. Joseph and Mary fucked each other, and
Correct.
Jesus was conceived.
Correct. So can we read Romans chapter 1 and verse 3?
Why are we going to Romans? You're supposed to be showing me prophecies about Jesus in the Hebrew Bible.
Because it shows that Christ fulfilled that prophecy. No. It shows that it was Christ that fulfilled that prophecy. Solomon.
When did Jesus sit on a throne and rule in Israel?
We all know that the Bible, that
there are lots.
The chapters and the verses were added later for reference. We understand that, right?
There are lots of people who are descendants from David. Jesus was not unique in that matter. In order for the first and foremost, the Psalms aren't prophecies. This is not a prophecy. But even if this were a prophecy, Jesus did not sit on David's throne. Therefore, he did not fulfill this.
Can we read? Just for the sake of the conversation, I don't have any
isn't a prophecy
computer to tap to. I only have the Bible that I'm working with, and so that's why I'm using the Bible to.
Romans chapter 1 isn't a prophecy. It just makes the claim that he was descended from the seed of David according to the flesh. Irrelevant. Lots of people are in the Jewish community are descended from David. Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the late Rebbe from the 90s, was supposedly a descendant of King David. So what? Neither him nor Jesus sat on a throne. Therefore, did not fulfill this prophecy.
Can you read Acts chapter 6 and verse 9?
We need something from the
Hebrew
Old
Bible.
Testament. The Hebrew Bible. The New Testament is not going to be prophecy. We're talking about prophecy from the Hebrew text.
Well, that was a prophecy from the Hebrew text, and I was trying to show you that it was confirmed in the New Testament, but you won't let me.
Here, Acts chapter 6, verse 1. Let's see what verse they're actually quoting. Then we'll go back to the actual passage from the Hebrew Bible and see if it's actually about Jesus.
Acts chapter 1 and verse 6.
All right, Acts.
And you can read through 9 because he kind of explains to them why he's not sitting on a throne.
Well,
when you read 6 to 9, he explains why he's not sitting on the throne.
That's just cope. I don't care. Jesus is not sitting on a throne. Menachem Mendel Schneerson's not sitting on a throne. Until Jesus actually sits on a throne, he did not fulfill this prophecy. I'm asking you specific. No, what we are asking from you is to find us a prophecy in the Hebrew Bible that Jesus has already fulfilled. I don't care about things that you think he will one day fulfill, because guess what? Until he does, they're unfulfilled. I'm asking for actually fulfilled prophecies.
Well, let's go to Isaiah.
There you go. Isaiah,
Yeah.
which verse?
After Isaiah chapter 53 and verse 12.
All right, Isaiah. Well, we'll not start in verse 12. We're gonna start in Isaiah 52, verse 13, which is where the passage actually begins. This is the exalted servant.
Sure.
Behold, my servant shall prosper, and shall be exalted and lifted up, and shall be very high. Here's my question to you, bud. Is this the first time that the servant is mentioned in this section of Isaiah?
Let's be honest. I know you're asking me a question because it's loaded.
Well, yes.
But the passage is clear about who is speaking about. No one else fulfilled part of the Bible, sir.
Here, I'll ask you again, Cephas' house. I know that you... Listen, if your position is true, then you shouldn't be afraid of answering honestly. So, I'll ask you again. Is this the first time in this section of Isaiah that the servant has been mentioned?
No, because Israel were all servants.
Ah, so the servant is Israel. Throughout the book of Isaiah, the servant repeatedly is referred to as the nation of Israel. So when I get to Isaiah 41, Isaiah 44, Isaiah 45, Isaiah 46 and 49 and 51, and repeatedly, it says the servant is
Let's
Israel.
start at 14. It's always going about 14 also.
I'm not done talking yet. And so when the servant is repeatedly over and over again said to be the nation of Israel, when I get to Isaiah 52 verse 13, because remember, when this section of Isaiah was written, there were no chapter divisions, there were no verse divisions. It was one solid text. Who should I think the servant is based on context? Let's pretend, Cephas, that you and I are two Israelites living 100 years before the time of Jesus. Why would I think? Thank you for the confetti. Why should I think that this is about the Messiah as opposed to Israel?
Well, because when you get to the verse that I was speaking about, it has a clear descriptive happening that not all Israel can confess to.
That's fine. This is not about all Israel. This is about the righteous remnant of Israel.
Correct. And Christ was a part of that righteous remnant. He's the king of that righteous remnant.
To be more specific, this is about the righteous remnant of Israel just after the exile of Babylon. That's when this takes place. Not in the suffering of the servant, from the perspective of the author, has already occurred. It's not a future event. The exaltation is a future event, but the servant, from the perspective of the author of this section of Isaiah, has already occurred. That's why he says not he will be despised and rejected of men. It says he was despised and rejected by men, because the despisement and rejection of the servant had already occurred when Isaiah 53 had been written.
No, it was a continuous prophecy that was happening all throughout history. Israelites were constantly killing the prophets.
I'm sorry.
The problem with the Israelites.
Are we just ignoring the words of the text? Like okay, let's here's a little grammar test for you, Cephas. What's the difference between these two sentences that I'm going to propose to you? Sentence number 1, I went to the store. Sentence number 2, I will go to the store. What is the difference between these two sentences?
One is past, one is present.
All right. When I read about the suffering of the servant, which tense is used?
It was present.
No. Surely he has borne our infirmities and carried out our diseases, yet we accounted him stricken. That is past tense, my dear.
He was wounded for our transgression. Our transgressions. It doesn't say he shall be wounded. It says he was wounded.
Right. Okay, so you understand that the fulfillment of the Bible, like we're just playing out what was already written.
No.
Like, so what you're speaking about, like, for instance, when Moses was telling the children of Israel about Deuteronomy 28, that didn't literally happen yet. It was a prophecy that was going to happen, but it happened.
Which is why Moses,
the way it said it was going to happen.
Which is why when Moses describes those things that will happen to the Israelites, he uses future tense. He says, "This shall happen to you." He doesn't say, "This has happened to you."
Right. And so now with that understanding in mind, and we go through the context of the Bible, the Israelites have been through several captivities.
Okay, I know you really, really want to talk about Black Hebrew Israelite nonsense.
No, I don't want to talk about Black Hebrew Israelites. I'm talking about Bible.
The question
Even
is,
after Isaiah, there was a whole nother captivity.
No. Okay, I don't care about that. The question is, what does Isaiah 53 say? Does it say he was wounded for our transgressions, or that he shall be wounded for our transgressions? What does it say?
Let me see that. We were reading at verse 13.
No, this is verse 5.
53 and
Isaiah. Yeah, 5.
Sorry, 53 and 5. You said.
Yeah. Vehu mecholal mishpashem.
Now, I know you're very deep, sir, but I speak English, so I know maybe there's a bunch of Hebrew speakers on here, but I only speak English, so please forgive me for I don't like. You don't speak English.
We'll see. I don't care. We'll see if your English translation is honest with what the text says. So, what does your text say in verse 5?
It says, "Surely he shall bear our grief and carry our sorrows, for we did esteem him and stricken."
Verse 5.
Smitten of God.
Verse 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. But he was wounded for our transgressions, and he was bruised for our iniquities.
What tense is being used here? Past or present? I mean, future or
past.
Or past. So, if the author is saying that that the servant was wounded, when should I think it took place from the perspective of the person writing this text? In the past or in the future?
Well, help me out, Bible guy. In the context of what we're reading right now, who is he speaking about? Is he speaking about himself? This is the book of Isaiah.
He's talking about Israel.
So in the verse that we're reading, verse 5, how was Israel wounded for its transgressions and was for our iniquity?
Israel's not the speaker in verse 5. The speaker in these first opening verses of Isaiah 53 are the kings of the nations, which you would know if you had read Isaiah 52.
You asked me to prove to you that the Messiah was in the Old Testament.
Yeah, you haven't done
What
it yet.
you're trying to confuse what was written here as if it does not exist to prophecy. Like, for instance,
okay, you are missing the point entirely.
So I know what the issue is. So in his text, in the KJV, he's not seeing how they're divided up. So he's not seeing that let the Zion rejoice, and then in the middle of it, he doesn't have that break to see where that is to help him out. But the truth is that at 13, where you see in the KJV, "Behold, my servant shall deal prudely; he shall be exalted and exalted very high." That's actually the beginning of this section. That's actually where this section begins. Yours is divided up really weird. So because the reason why is because 53 actually starts who was believed to what we have heard instead of who has believed our report. That's actually in the middle of a segment. It doesn't make any sense. It really should start at 52:13. "Behold, my servant shall deal prudently." That's what yours says. "He shall be exalted and exalted very high," just as many things, because that leads into 53. In the actual Hebrew, there are none of these chapter thingies that you're seeing, but it would only make sense starting at that and putting it into a segment.
So the speakers of Isaiah, at the beginning of Isaiah 53, are not the children of Israel. It's the nations. Because Isaiah 52 verse 14 says, "As many were astonished at him, his appearance was so marred beyond human semblance, and his form beyond that of the sons of men. So shall he startle many nations. Kings shall shut their mouths because of him. For that which had not been told them they shall see, and that which they have not heard they shall understand." So when Isaiah 53 begins, It's not the children of Israel speaking. It's the kings of the nations who are startled at seeing the servant raised and exalted. They're the ones who are saying, "Who has believed what we have heard?"
Can we start at verse 12 of that? Because I like what she read in 13. Can we read verse 12, the verse above it?
Behold, my servant
where it says,
shall
where it says, "Ye shall go with haste and go by flight. For the Lord thy God before you, the God of Israel will be your reward." And then it goes into "Behold, my servant," because behold is
okay.
Yeah.
Stop.
My servant. That is what we are focusing on. See, my servant shall prosper. We go back in the text and we go to Isaiah because, like I said, there are none of these chapter thingies in the actual Hebrew. Those don't exist. Isaiah was talking and talking and talking when he mentioned the servant. Every single time he said the servant, he was in reference to Jacob. He was in reference to Israel. He says it continuously throughout the text. That is what I'm trying to explain to you, that your Bible is worse than even ours at like cutting it off in funny places. But it's just all one streamlined text. When he's saying the servant, it's Israel, it's Jacob. That is the important context in this verse.
Well, I've been listening to you guys for a while, right? I jumped in here and I've been in here for a little over an hour. You guys said that you guys were atheists, but I just have a quick question about the reasoning of
Can we stay on?
Yes.
This is on topic.
It's on topic. Because we are in chapter 53, correct?
No, I'm
52 and 53.
I'm starting in chapter 52.
52 and 53. But we had many chapters before this, correct?
Yes, and all the chapters leading up to this say repeatedly that the servant is Israel.
Right, and my point into going into that is that there's many things in the book of Isaiah that have not happened yet. And so when Isaiah starts speaking about certain things, he does go into the present and into the past in many different regards.
Yes,
like
the future,
Isaiah 14, for example.
The future,
Isaiah chapter 66, for example.
The future that Isaiah is speaking about. The future that Isaiah is speaking about is only the exaltation of the servant. The suffering of the servant has already occurred when the author wrote this section of Isaiah. The part that is about the future is the exaltation of the nation of Israel. The suffering of the servant has already occurred from the perspective of the author.
So you're telling me that like for instance, when we get to Isaiah 66, that already happened.
That's a completely different author altogether. We're talking about
Isaiah 66 and
yes. So the book of Isaiah has.
We're talking about the book of Isaiah.
The book of Isaiah has 3 different sets of authors. There's one author for Isaiah chapters 1 through 39, which is called Proto-Isaiah, which was the historical prophet Isaiah. Then there's another author for what's called Second Isaiah, written Isaiah chapter 40 through 56. Which was written right at the time of the return of the exiles from Babylon. And then Trito Isaiah is Isaiah chapter 57 through 66, which was written at the time when the Israelites were rebuilding Jerusalem in the Holy Land. We are only talking
those are considered pseudo-epigrapha, right?
In a way, because they don't know.
I'm sorry,
because
is that English?
They don't actually claim to be written by none of those. Nothing. After
they don't.
Isaiah,
okay.
Nothing.
That's what I was wondering. Sorry.
Yeah, nothing in Isaiah 40 onwards ever claims to be written by Isaiah. Now, again, Cephas, the text of Second Isaiah, Isaiahs 40 through 56, repeatedly tell us that the servant is Israel, and the author says that the suffering of the servant has already occurred, but the exaltation is in the future. This is not about the Messiah.
Why is it not? When I was trying to show you verses in the New Testament that confirmed what we're reading right now.
Because Jesus' suffering was 700 years after Isaiah said the author of 2nd Isaiah said this. From the perspective of the author, the servant has already suffered. The suffering is in the past, not the future.
The Bible is a prophetic book.
The author isn't prophesying that
the never happened yet.
The author isn't prophesying that the servant will suffer in the future. It does not say that. I don't know how, I'm speaking English. I don't know where you're missing the point. The author does not say that the servant's suffering is in the future. Only his exaltation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Unmute yourself.
No, because there's many prophecies in the Bible that talk about Christ.
We're talking about Isaiah 53.
Right, because you moved the goalpost 3 times.
We are staying on topic. I'm not the one moving the goalpost. You're the one who wants to move to Isaiah 66. We are talking about Isaiah chapter 53. All right? Does the tense of the suffering of the servant, is it past tense or future tense?
I told you that the way it was written was it was.
Bye.
What?
I will not suffer fools.
That felt like he was trying to cram like an entire, I don't know, like just
I will not deal with people who cannot understand basic English. He didn't like Hebrew, but he doesn't understand English either.
Can you repeat the different parts of Isaiah for someone? Because I think that this may be a news for people within the chat.
Right. So while traditional authorship says that the prophet Isaiah wrote Isaiah's chapters 1 through 66, modern day scholarship would say differently, that the prophet Isaiah is responsible for Isaiah chapters 1 through 39. But Isaiah's 40 onwards are written by 2 different sets of authors that aren't Isaiah. Mostly because of the type of language that's being used. When we read, for example, the section called 2nd Isaiah, which is Isaiah chapters 40 through 56, reading it very carefully, it's quite obvious that the context of the passage is about the return of the exiles from Babylon. The whole section of Isaiah chapter 40 begins with Yahweh declaring that the exiles are returning from their captivity in Babylon. And repeatedly throughout the section, God is telling the Israelites, you've already served your penalty, you've received double at the hand of the Lord for all your iniquities. Past tense. And Cyrus, the king of Persia, is mentioned in Isaiah chapter 45.
Is your mommy vacuuming?
Jesus fuck, I thought that was coming from somewhere else.
No, that's your mom. I could hear it.
Yeah. Anyways, Isaiah 45 mentions King Cyrus, and God says that he has grasped him by the hand using the perfect tense, as in if it's already happened, which would lead us to believe that this wasn't written during the time of Isaiah. It was written at a later time at the return of the exiles from Babylon, which is why, by the way, Isaiah is mentioned throughout Isaiah chapter 1 through 39, but you'll never see Isaiah's name ever brought up after chapter 39.
Just by the way, guys, we do plan on this Sunday to take some time and put together a resource page for y'all, and it's going to be like Google Docs that is going to continue to be edited, and I think we're going to put that on Dalton's Linktree for right now. So yeah, we're going to start getting that together. I don't know if Isaiah will be in there or not. I know that Dalton has some information on that. I know you have an audio book regarding the subject. But yeah, we're going to put that together this Sunday, and we'll put it in Dalton's Linktree. So, but other than that, tap, share. Thank you, Evan. Tap the screen, share out the live, repost. If you have a heart me, please send one. It helps the algorithm. And then, do we have another guest? Yeah, we do.
Yes. So we're going to bring up Kiyama Hiatus. So 3 questions for you. Are you at least 18? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns?
Yes. Hello, sir. How are you?
Doing much better. So are you at least 18? Are you a Christian? And what are your pronouns?
Yes, I am. I am 52.
Can you get closer to the mic?
I'm sorry. I said, hold on. Let me turn it up. I said that I am 52.
All right. Are you a Christian, and what are your pronouns?
No, I am not a Christian.
Okay. Well, we're only here to talk to people who believe Jesus was the Christ and the Son of God. But you have a wonderful day.
Oh.
All right, Sean Ornery. We're bringing you up next. 3 questions for you. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Hello.
Sean, are you at least 18?
Yes.
Are you a Christian?
Yes.
And what are your pronouns?
I'm a man.
Okay, but what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, Sean, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy, and I don't think Jesus was God, the Messiah, or resurrected from the dead. Which of these 3 topics would you like to discuss with me?
Well, I don't believe Jesus was God either.
All right, so which
because
one,
he was.
So which one of these 2 topics would you like to discuss with me?
Let's go with the Messiah bit, please.
All right. I don't think Jesus was Messiah because he didn't fulfill any messianic prophecies. Would you like to present us with any messianic prophecy that he did fulfill?
I'll try. It depends on if you're open to a discussion.
I am.
Okay, then, okay. Can I ask you a question first?
Sure.
Please? Do you discredit all the Psalms as having any sort of prophecies relating to the Messiah from the get-go?
Yes, the Psalms are just poetry, and most of the Psalms tell us that most of the Psalms that Christians bring to my attention explicitly tell me that they're about King David.
Right. He definitely wrote most of them, right?
No, he didn't write any of them.
King David?
No, he didn't write any Psalms. That's a matter. Okay. That's something that came about through later Jewish and Christian tradition, but the Psalms themselves never actually make the claim that David wrote them. Your English Bible will say a Psalm of David, but the original Hebrew says it's a Psalm for David or a Psalm about David.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't. I'm not Jewish. I've never have been actually. But anyway. Okay. Well, there was another thing you'd mentioned before. I've been listening for quite some time. You talked about Elijah going to heaven, referring to John 1:1 or something like that.
Sure, but that's not a prophecy about Jesus.
No, but in that instance, when he was with Elisha, that Elijah was taken up into the sky, so to speak, that doesn't actually end there. Right? 7 years later, he had wrote a letter to King Jehoram from Elijah, actually, so he was still alive. But that's just another thing. And the prophecy in Genesis 3:15.
Yeah, okay, Genesis 3:15. Let's talk about that. I don't think Genesis 3:15 is a prophecy. It's just an etiology that explains why humans and snakes are in contention with one another. Why should I think this is a prophecy?
Right. Okay, because, well, are you familiar with Revelation chapter 12?
I am, and I don't, like, the author, even if the author of Revelation was referencing the serpent of Genesis, that wouldn't tell me that the author...
I'm talking about the woman.
Just because
the woman mentioned in Revelation 12, the woman that's mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah, that's Israel.
I was taught is the same woman mentioned in Genesis 3:15.
Oh, it's not. The woman mentioned in Genesis 3:15 is reference to Eve. The woman in Revelation 12 is a symbol for the nation of Israel because she's clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars.
Right.
Clearly an allusion to Joseph's dream, where his father and mother were the sun and the moon, and his brother were stars. The 12 stars represent the 12 tribes. So it's
but Revelation was written after, anyways.
Yeah. So
none of that matters. It was written in 95 CE, and supposedly the death of Jesus would have happened 30 to 33.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the point I'm trying to make is, could I give it to you in a nutshell? Basically, what I've been taught as a Christian, although we don't believe that Jesus is God.
Sure.
In my religion.
Sure, that's fine. Okay. Tell me what you've been taught, and I'll tell you why I probably don't agree with it.
This prophecy in Genesis 3:15. I don't have any script. I'm just going to see if I can recollect it out of my head. I'm pacing back and forth.
Enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed.
I can quote it, but I'm trying to gather it so I can present this tactfully. Okay, so the enmity of Eve died; she passed away at one point. But this woman is mentioned again. There's a woman mentioned again in Revelation. So we've gathered that so far. And there was a talk about basically enmity, a war, basically, or a fight between the woman and the serpent, and between her seed and his seed, the serpent's seed. So, okay. So, and then we can skip forward to Abraham, where God made the covenant with Abraham. Where he said, through your seed.
Are we going to go through the whole Bible? Because I don't. I know the Bible already.
Well, the point is that this seed, the woman's seed, what we believe, that is basically the Messiah coming.
Okay, well, why?
Again?
Why? Because I think the seed is reference to all humans. Because we are the seed of Eve, according to
If you follow the Bible correctly, you will see that this enmity, this war, has been going on.
How do you correctly follow a book that isn't in chronological? Or none of this makes sense. There's no correct way to read the Bible except, I don't know, throw it at something. But when the Bible was written, it wasn't written at one point. It was compiled much later on. The Christian Bible that you have now was 400. The fourth century, I believe. So it's not even all of these authors would have known about each other's existence, and because I guess God didn't decide that he wanted to actually be, he wanted to be the author of chaos, I guess, or confusion, because he didn't give us a manual for this. But you're claiming you have this divine manual to tell us how to read the text. Why should we believe that you have the correct way to read the text, to interpret it this way, to come to these conclusions?
It's a good question. Can I ask you are you familiar with Daniel chapter 11?
Could you just answer my question, please?
That would be the answer.
You're breaking my neck with jumping all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what you want to hear, basically. Okay, it's basically just that simple. Our God is alive. He exists. I know you're atheist. And he has a work going on right now.
Okay, so
does Hercules. Yeah, Hercules is alive as well. That was a claim.
Here's the underlying problem. You assume that the Bible is univocal and inspired. I don't. Each author brings to the table their own theology, their own ideas. Just because the author of Revelation believed a thing, that doesn't tell me how I should read the book of Genesis. The book of Genesis
your first mistake.
Well, no, it's not a mistake. You are yet to give me. You've yet to give me a reason. No, shush. You've yet to give me a reason to accept inspiration and univocality of the Bible. That needs to be demonstrated before you can make any argument off of the idea of univocality and inspiration.
Well, you say that each and every author of the Bible. That's what I mean by your first mistake. The author of the Bible is actually God.
That's a claim.
And he used...
The fuck?
What's the evidence for the claim?
Okay, let me go ahead. 1,610 years it took to write the Bible.
No.
40 some odd men.
No. The Bible was written probably over a period of 800 to 1,000 years by it might well be over 100 different authors, because again, we don't know who wrote the Psalms. There could be 150 authors for the Psalms as far as we know. And there are many more editors and redactors for the Psalm, written over 2 continents in 3 different languages.
Okay. Okay. So that's what you were taught.
No, that's what the data precludes us to.
Well, okay.
You don't know who wrote. You don't know who wrote the majority of the Bible.
The point I'm trying to make is that God is the author of the Bible, and He used His prophets to pen down His thought.
Prove it.
This isn't even claimed in the Bible. The Bible doesn't even make this claim.
Oh, yes, it does.
The closest you're going to get to this claim is going to be 2 Timothy 3:16, but I doubt you actually know what the Greek word theopneustos to this claim is going to be 2 Timothy 3:16, but I doubt you actually know what the Greek word theopneustos actually means when it says that all Scripture is theopneustos and Ophelio. Do you even know what that really means?
No, please go. I don't.
Because you assume that inspired means that God is the ultimate author. No, inspired in the Greek is theopneustos, a word which was used in the 1st century CE to basically mean life-giving. It's God's breath. Like, think Genesis, where God breathes into Adam and brings him to life. When the author of 2 Timothy makes the claim that Scripture was theopneustos, all he was claiming was that it's life-giving and useful, not that the idea of biblical,
it's supported by the context in this verse. By the way, you don't even have to know the Greek to understand what the context of this verse was alluding to, because it says it.
And for anyone who wants more information, one second. And for anyone who wants more information on this, I suggest the book On the Invention of the Inspired Text by John C. Poirier. It's a whole book dedicated to the study of simply the word theopneustos in its original context.
That's very interesting. Can I show you a text in Daniel chapter 12, referring to today, the prophecy that is being fulfilled in our day?
Sure, but I don't think it's actually fulfilled in this day. But we'll go ahead.
So are you just going to run from the fact that the text is not God? Like, the God didn't write this?
Well,
you just gave up on that one. Do you concede to that one? God didn't write it.
The Bible.
It's not. It's not univocal.
I still believe he's the author. I'm 110%.
Well, until you're able to demonstrate it,
see, that's illogical.
We're not going to assume this for that argument. We're going to treat the Bible like we would any other ancient text from the ancient Near East. So, what prophecy do you think is being fulfilled today from the book of the prophet Daniel?
Chapter 12, the verses 9 and 10, please.
Sure. He said, "Go your way, Daniel, for the words are shut up and sealed until the time of the end. Many shall purify themselves and make themselves white and be refined. But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. But those who are wise shall understand." This is all very vague. And from the time that the continual burnt offering is taken away, and the abomination that makes desolate is set up, there shall be 1,200. This is so vague. This could be said. You could literally make this claim that this was fulfilled at literally any time in history.
Right. Well, the point what I'm getting at is the time of the end, because he told Daniel was told here that he would die, basically.
Okay, but is this the time of the end? I don't have any reason to think so.
Please, I didn't understand. Say that again, please.
I don't have any reason to think that this is the time of the end. And also, what's said here about the time of the end, you could literally say that about the time of Jesus as well. Like, it's so vague. This is an example of this is not a messianic prophecy. You gave me a prophecy about what you think the end of the world would be like. I asked you for evidence that Jesus was the Messiah from prophecy. This is unrelated to the topic at hand. I need you to I need you to scoop back to the point at hand, prophecies about the Messiah that Jesus fulfilled.
Okay, well, how about Micah, or what is it, Micah?
Micah 5:2.
Yeah, 5:2.
All right.
Where was that? Was that the one with Bethlehem or something like that?
Here's I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Question number 1. Does Micah 5:2 ever say that the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem? Does it use the word born?
I know. I got pacing back and forth. Let me get my Bible.
Here, I'll read it to you.
Go ahead.
But you, O Bethlehem Ephrathah, who are little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to be ruler in Israel, whose origin is from of old, from ancient days. So, question number 1. Does the text say the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem?
Hang on for a second. Let me open my Bible here. What was that?
5:2. Micah 5:2.
And you, O Bethlehem Ephrathah, the one too little to be among the thousands of Judah, from you will come out for me the one to be ruler in Israel. whose origin is from ancient times, from the days of long ago. Well, that wasn't actually the text I was looking for. Hang on for a second.
That's the only reference to Bethlehem and the Messiah in the entirety of the Hebrew Bible.
All right, okay. That was the one. That's it, right at the beginning.
Does the text ever say the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem? Does it use the word born?
Hang on. You are the one too little to be among the thousands of Jews. From you will come up the one to be ruler in Israel. Why would that not apply to Jesus?
Well, because first and foremost, the most important of this is that Jesus was never a ruler in Israel. That's the most important thing. Secondly, the text doesn't say that this individual will be born in Bethlehem, just that his going forth is from Bethlehem. And here, Bethlehem is not a reference to the village Bethlehem. It's a reference to the clan of Bethlehem. The author here is making the claim that a ruler in Israel will come forth from the clan of Bethlehem, whose origins will be from ancient days. In other words, this is just saying that the future ruler in Israel will come from the Davidic dynasty. That's it. That's
how you understand?
Yeah, was Jesus.
That's how you understand?
Yeah, no reference to the city. It doesn't say city of Bethlehem or village of Bethlehem. It talks about your translation says thousands. It's the Hebrew word Eleph, the clan of Bethlehem. The person comes forth from the clan of Bethlehem, and he's a ruler in Israel. Was Jesus ever a ruler in Israel?
Well, that's where
he's the spiritual ruler.
We're talking about. Yeah, you're familiar with that teaching, right?
Yeah, it's bullshit, because I can make the claim under that criteria. I could say
Revelation,
that under that criteria, I could point to, for example, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, who was the Lubavitcher Rebbe in the late 90s. People thought, there were many within Chabad Judaism who thought that perhaps he was the Messiah. In fact, they called him the Melech Mashiach, the King Messiah. And you could just make the objection, well, he never actually was a king of Israel, but they can just point to you and say, well, he was the spiritual king. Like,
this is the one that could be about Elias.
Yeah, it literally anyone who's from the region of Bethlehem, as long as you are making the claim that it's a spiritual king, it literally could apply to anyone. But it doesn't say spiritual king in the text. It says a ruler in Israel, and it doesn't say spiritual ruler.
Yeah, my ex is Palestinian. He's coming forth from Bethlehem. So could be about him. His origins are of ancient days. He's Canaanite. He's a Palestinian.
Interesting. How about Deuteronomy 18 and 19?
All right, we'll go to another passage now. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses what?
18 and 19.
All right, let's see. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brethren, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And whoever will not give heed to my words, which he shall speak in my name, I myself will require it of him. Yeah, this is referring to Joshua, the son of Nun. He's the one, he was the successor of Moses, and he even was like Moses.
And if you look at John 12...
Wait. Let's not move forward.
This is where this prophecy I was taught is fulfilled.
I need you to respond to what I just said.
Well, I'll let the text do the speaking, if you don't mind.
Do you disagree that Joshua was like Moses?
Well, Joshua worked with Moses. They worked together.
No. Wasn't Joshua Moses' successor?
Well, exactly, he was, yes.
Did he perform miracles like Moses?
What I'm referring to, what we were taught,
I don't care what you were taught. I'm giving you a response to your claim first, before we can move on to what you were taught. I'm aware that you believe Jesus is the prophet like to Moses, but here, it's obviously referring to Joshua, the son of Nun, because Joshua was the successor of Moses. Yahweh spoke to Joshua. The people were ordered to obey Joshua just as they obeyed Moses. And Joshua performed miracles just like Moses. He parted the Jordan River, just like Moses parted the Red Sea. He sent forth spies, just as Moses sent forth spies. Joshua fits this criteria more than Jesus ever did.
Did not Moses say that a prophet greater than I would come?
Greater?
Yes.
Where does it say greater? I will raise up a prophet like you, not greater than you.
Joshua wasn't. Joshua in no way on the level of Moses.
WTBV Raiders.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
It doesn't say in the text that he was on the level of Moses. It says, Navi akim lachem mikerev ayachim. I will raise up for them a prophet like you. Not one who is on your level, not one who's greater than you, just one that's like you.
Let me look at that thing for a second.
Kamocha. Like you.
Okay. Deuteronomy 18, right? Is that what I said?
Yes, Deuteronomy 18:18.
No.
I will raise up for them a prophet like you, not greater than you.
Okay.
Oh, thank you for the gifts, by the way.
18. Okay.
Yeah.
I will raise up.
One second, Sean.
A prophet like you.
You think Jesus is God, right?
No. Never said that.
I thought, didn't we have a whole conversation about that?
No, that was a different person.
Oh, that wasn't. Oh, okay.
I don't believe Jesus is God.
Now,
God is a completely different.
The text merely.
I believe he's the Son of God.
Yeah, the text merely says, Sean, I will raise up for them a prophet like you, not on your level,
right.
Not greater than you. Doesn't say that in the text.
Yeah. Would you really want to compare Joshua with Moses?
Yes.
Being like everything? Oh, really?
He was like Moses. In fact, Yahweh told Moses to lay his hands upon Joshua so that he could confer his authority upon Joshua, so that the people would obey Joshua in the same way they obeyed Moses.
All right. Okay. That's.
Does the text
can I show you another? I'll read you my version of it. Okay.
Jesus fuck.
I will raise up for them from the midst of their brothers a prophet like you, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he will speak to them all that I command him.
Did Joshua do that?
Indeed, I will require an account from the man who will not listen to my words.
Okay.
That he will speak.
That applies to Joshua, correct?
I believe it applies to Jesus.
What?
If you'd like,
no. Sean, could this not also apply to Joshua? Did Yahweh speak to Joshua?
Yes.
What would happen if the people were to disobey Joshua?
Okay.
No, that was a question. What would happen if the people disobeyed Joshua?
It would come to a point of punishment at some point.
All right. Did Joshua perform miracles like Moses?
I see what you're saying. So we have different.
That was an answer.
Teaching.
That was an answer to my question. Did Joshua perform miracles like Moses?
I see what you're saying.
I didn't ask if you see what I'm saying. I asked you a question. Did Joshua perform miracles like Moses?
I could slap the ball back into you.
Yes or no?
Jesus
no, you're not going to. No. I asked you a question. I asked you a question. You can answer yes or no. Did Joshua perform miracles like Moses?
Well, he was led by God, yes, and he had power, yes. He had Holy Spirit from God.
Yes, he performed miracles like Moses. Is that what you're saying?
Did Jesus?
I didn't ask about Jesus. I didn't ask. The word greater. The word greater does not occur in Deuteronomy. Stop inserting things into the text that aren't there. It doesn't say greater.
It says on his level.
It doesn't say on his level. It says kamocha. What does kamocha mean?
It says a prophet like you.
Like you. Not greater than you. Not on your level. Just like you. Was Joshua not like Moses?
No. Yes. Not in the least, actually.
Yes. You actually just admitted to me that God spoke to him, that the people had to obey him in all things just like they obeyed Moses, that he performed miracles like Moses. Yes. Joshua was a prophet like Moses.
There were many prophets similar to Joshua. Look at Elijah and you know the whole plethora.
Were any of them directly appointed as leader of Israel by Moses?
You believe in the Hebrew scriptures, right?
No, I'm just showing you what the Bible actually says in the Hebrew Bible.
Okay, I got you. I showed you that text. I say that's a prophecy. You're referring to Jesus, and you refute that.
And yet, I can demonstrate to you how it can easily be referring to Joshua.
Let me show you another one. See what you think of this one.
Sure, I'll give you one last prophecy, and then we're moving on.
Okay, hang on for a second. Praised by Psalm 8, verse 2.
All right, let me pull it up. Psalm. You already know my position on the Psalms. Verse 8, chapter 8. First and foremost, Psalm chapter 2, verse 8:1 tells me at the very beginning that this is a, quote, Mizmor la David, a psalm for David.
To the director upon the Gittith, a melody of David.
Not of. It says Mizmor. What is it? Uses. The preposition lamed is used before David's name. What is that first word used in your English translation? It says for someone, right?
To the director upon the Gittith, a melody of David.
Now, guess what? When it says to the director in your English translation, it uses the. Actually, no. I'll just show you. 1 second. That way, no one has to trust me. I don't have to do it. Trust me, bro. I'll actually show you.
You don't even need this. You could just read it.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. I just need to. I keep making this point, and I'm going to.
Yeah, it's a plural. It's collective. It's not referring to one.
Here, 1 second. Open.
Want me to read it?
1 second, Sean.
Please go ahead. Take your time.
Yeah, I'm about to pull up something just so I can demonstrate for the class what exactly it is that I'm talking about. Okay, did that save? Oh yeah, here we go. Downloads, pictures, screenshots, open. There we go. All right. You see right next to the 8, it says here, it says La Maneziach. That's to the choir master or to the director. You see the very first letter there that looks like a lightning bolt.
I don't see anything. I really don't.
Do you not see on the screen the picture?
I can see it
right here. Sean, you see the word?
Help me out. I don't see. I'm a little lost.
Guess. Do all the other guests see the picture on the screen? On all the audience.
Put a 1 in the chat if you can see what's on the screen, the Hebrew.
Oh yeah, okay. Now I see it.
Okay.
Now I see it.
Now you see how you see that first letter in this first word that kind of looks like a lightning mark.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, that's the letter lamed. Okay, it means for, to, or about. Now the word that's in your translation, it gets it correctly as to the director in your translation, or to the choir master.
Right, it says you to the director up on the Gittith, a melody of David.
Now, when I show you the words melody of David in the Hebrew, you have the first word here is the word mizmor. That's the word for the melody or the psalm. And then here's la David, meaning and you see that again? That same exact letter where it says la David. Again, this doesn't mean of David. Just as it meant to or for the director, it also means a melody to or for David. Not by David, to David.
That's very interesting. Yeah, you see the different translations here and there. There was another point that you had mentioned before about Quirinius and Herod.
We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to no, we're not going to get to that because this is the last thing we're talking about.
We haven't even read, actually.
Psalm 8 is the last thing we're going to be talking about. So, to the choir master, according to the Gittith, a psalm for David. O Yahweh our Lord, how majestic is thy name in all the earth, thou whose glory above the heavens is chanted. By the mouth of babes and infants, you have founded a bulwark because of thy foes, to still the enemy of the avenger. Okay? What is this?
You read very well. Read very, very well. Can I read you my caption here, please?
Sure, but what is this? Jesus.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Okay. It says.
It doesn't. It's about humankind.
Yeah.
O Jehovah, O Jehovah our Lord, how majestic your name is throughout the earth. You have set your splendor even higher than the heavens. Out of the mouth of children and infants you have established strength, on account of your adversaries, to silence the enemy and the avenger. Very similar, actually.
Okay, what does this have to do with Jesus?
None of this has no messianic mark. It's not about a divinity king. It's not about an anointed one.
Well, it's about David. So it is about him as a king. And
him as a king, but like his line.
Are you familiar with Jesus and the children praising him and dancing and stuff as he came into Jerusalem on a donkey? Which, by the way, was prophecy
but again, the text literally says, "This is a song for David." This is about David.
Yeah.
I don't.
The point I'm trying to make is that
is that words don't.
There are many texts, even with Quirinius.
We're not talking about Quirinius.
But he ruled twice.
I don't know. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And we're not moving on.
His name is not on the ground, but many scholars believe that.
No, many scholars don't.
Yes.
Your religious scholars believe that Quirinius served twice. We're not. I already told you. Psalm 8 is the last thing I was going to talk to you about because we've been going on for 30 minutes. We're not moving on to Quirinius. You should have brought that up earlier in the conversation. You're more than welcome to come back on another day when we talk about why the Bible is bullshit. Until then, Sean, you have a good night. They just don't understand when I say no means no. I feel bad for the women in their lives. All right. We're going to bring up now, thank everyone for all the likes and shares, but we're going to bring up now.
Yeah. I think someone else, Zeus, that's who it is. Thank you for the gifts. I did not get to thank you. I've been paying attention to a bunch of other stuff and I apologize, but I like to thank everyone. And also make sure you're tapping that screen. We're at 64.9. We're almost at 65. Let's get up there to like those 70 and 80,000 likes. Make sure you're reposting, sharing out the live, doing all the things. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for being here.
1 second, everybody. I need to remove this jacket because I'm sweating my ass off my room. It's Texas. It's hot as hell. So just give me 1 second.
I'll entertain y'all. Oh God, you can hear the echo. Echo. Do y'all like my cup? It says I pooped today. Dalton bought this for me. Oh, Dalton. Someone says to check your Cash App. He can't hear me. I forgot. Dalton.
Oh, where's my glasses? 1 second. One of these days when I get a fucking living room, we're gonna have so much space to move around.
Dalton.
Ashland.
Yes. Check your Cash App.
Check my Cash App. Yes, if anyone Cash Apps me, I will. This is like super chats. I will read whatever it is you write to me in the Cash App. Let's see.
There should still be that deal on the NRSVUE for $12.24 on Amazon. If you have an Amazon Prime account, I just got mine in today. We will be this Sunday making a document of where we get all resources from, and it's going to just be something that's built upon, so we'll do a little each week. What else? Real
quick, Oppo said, shout out to you and Ashland. Thank you so much for everything, for the $35. Thank you so much, Oppo.
W Oppo. Let's get some W Oppos in the chat. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Dalton could always use some upgrades to his equipment and stuff. Wait, what's the next thing on your... I know you just bought the software, a year subscription to the software to edit videos.
Next, I'll probably end up getting a second monitor. I don't know. I'm honestly probably need to start saving up for like an apartment so that we can, someone said, Mike, Lou, this is a really nice mic. I don't know what you're talking about. Probably saving up for my own apartment so I actually have room to move around. You are breathing loud, lady.
I am?
Yeah.
And maybe, it's probably that. I'm doing this.
Oh. All right. Is New Jewish Publication Society JPS translation the what, Jeremy? The JPS Tanakh. Yeah, it is. That is the JPS Tanakh. All right. We're going to bring up the next guest in line. Gattasafe. I'm going to ask you the same 3 questions I ask every single one of my guests. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Make sure I can get a little bit closer to the mic. I can barely hear you.
Yes. Hear me better.
You still sound very faint. Do I have the option to increase someone's mic?
Yeah, make sure your hand isn't over the mic at the bottom. You're holding it on the side. You sound really far away right now.
We really cannot hear you.
Is there a way for me to adjust?
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Something happened.
Gotta say, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am. I'm 20.
Are you a Christian?
Yes.
And what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, gotta say he, him. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. I do not think Jesus was God or the Messiah or resurrected. Which of these 3 points would you like to discuss?
Let's talk about the resurrection. But I also want to make your life easier. My name's Safe. This is just my handle. So
all right,
there you
Safe.
Go.
Why should I believe
let's
Jesus
talk
is
about
resurrected?
Well, let's think about the amount of people who, let's speak at least of the apostles. There's 12 of them who all went to death in horrible ways without getting any monetary gain or any actual gain from it. No, you don't think so?
No, we don't have any evidence. All we have are traditions from hundreds of years later. Some of those sources being super spurious. But no, we don't have... I think the closest thing we have to evidence for any of the apostles dying is James's death is mentioned in Josephus's works, and Peter and Paul's works death is mentioned in 1 Clement. Besides that, the rest of them are just legendary stories.
Well, let's talk about at least those 3 then. Why would they go to death on something that they would know is false?
They don't know it's false. They genuinely believe that they saw Jesus resurrected, but they were just mistaken.
And why would they be mistaken?
Bereavement hallucination for Peter. In regards to James and Paul, visionary experiences, but those are explained as being psychological phenomenon. My co-host down here, Ashlyn, actually has a degree in psychology. She can actually elaborate more on this.
Okay, so they all had the same vision of the same resurrected Christ.
Well,
but
we don't know that.
Not the same vision. We don't.
But they claimed for it to be the same vision.
No, they just that Jesus appeared to each of them, but we don't have any evidence that they saw the same exact thing.
Well, we see, I would say, in Acts, and there's a clear description in Acts that Jesus walked with them for 40 days, and none of them seem to refute that.
I don't believe Acts is.
In fact,
is true
in the writings of Paul, we see that he writes back to. Well, this is actually great. Why do you not believe that the Gospels were true history? Why are they made up? Who wrote them?
We don't know who wrote them.
Why would we believe that they're true history? Is they seem to get things wrong.
Well, it seems. Well, what do they get wrong?
The author of Luke, for example, makes a claim that there was a census under Quirinius for the entire Roman Empire. No such tax ever occurred in the Roman Empire under Quirinius.
And what proof is there that no tax ever happened like that?
Josephus. Josephus actually tells us about the census. It was a census for the region of Judea. And it wouldn't make, also it doesn't make any sense to have people leave their homes to go to their ancestral homes for a census. The whole purpose of a census is so that you know where people live and work.
It would also make more sense that the gospel authors were trying to place Jesus in Bethlehem because they had misperceived Hebrew text. That would make a lot more sense. But we don't have any like documents outside of this confirming the story. What it does seem to paint the picture of is that they really want to put him in Bethlehem because it screws everything up, but they still force the story.
But you find that there is far less manuscripts in history about someone like Alexander, for example, but you don't question the validity of those texts.
Number of manuscripts is irrelevant. So let's say we have person A and person B from history. In person A, we only have 10 independent eyewitnesses for them.
Okay.
Person B, we have, let's say, also 10 independent witnesses, but we have 20 or 30 or 40 copies of those texts. The number of witnesses would be the same for both. One just gets copied more, or if you will, let's say only one person A only has 2 witnesses, and person B has 10, but person A has more manuscripts about them, like more copies. There's still less witnesses for person A.
But this isn't even true. We have modern cities still named after Alexander. We have coins, we have inscriptions. We also believe that Jesus was a real person. We just don't believe the accounts. Like we know that Alexander existed because of the evidence. But if there was a supernatural claim made about Alexander, and there was no cooperation to back it up, we also wouldn't believe that. So it doesn't matter. We do think that Alexander exists, but we believe in minimal historicity. So we know that Alexandria have documented archaeology.
I know Alexandria existed because I've been there. I was born and raised in Egypt, so I can tell you it does. But the point that I'm making here is, let's say, if I told you today that, let's say, Charlie Kirk is actually alive, you would say, no, we all saw him die. The same thing would happen back there. Why would I start a cult that believes something where it's easily to point out that, hey, this person didn't rise from the dead?
Because Peter authentically believed that the Jesus had resurrected from the dead based on probably his bereavement hallucination. And a corpse lying around wouldn't necessarily stop them from believing that, because we know that Jewish people had a wide variety of beliefs about what resurrection constituted, because the Hebrew Bible doesn't give us a description of how one is resurrected from the dead. Some thought that the same body that died was the one who would be raised. Others thought that it was the soul that would be raised up and a new body given to it while the previous corpse would remain. For the early Christians, Jesus was probably thrown into a mass grave and decayed, so there would be no way of verifying whether or not he actually resurrected physically. They would just have visions where they saw him.
But then Peter wouldn't go and check the tomb to be like, hey, maybe he's gone? There was no tomb.
The tomb only occurs in the Gospels. Paul never tells us that Jesus was buried in a tomb. He only says...
So what did they do with the body of Jesus?
Like all crucifixion victims, he was probably thrown into a mass grave.
A mass grave. And they wouldn't go to the mass grave and be like, well, his body's still there.
No, because by the time because probably he's buried amongst a bunch of dead people. But even if they were able to somehow verify his corpse, it wouldn't stop them from believing that Jesus resurrected, because some Jews, like Paul, for example, believed that the resurrected body is not the same body that was raised.
And then you would say that then the 400 other people that are accounted for to have seen Jesus, 500, thank you for upping the number, all had the same hallucination.
Are you Catholic?
No, I was raised Orthodox, but I currently am non-denominational.
Do you believe in the miracle of the sun?
Can you clarify on that?
It's a Marian apparition that happened in Fatima, where thousands upon thousands of people claim that the sun danced in the sky.
I've never heard about it, and I honestly don't really care that much about it.
Well, I mean, it's more people than the 500, and at least when it comes to them, we have named witnesses for that. And most of us would say, well, this is just collective, like a collective religious hysteria. But when it comes to the 500, one, we don't know any of them. None of their names. 2, none of their testimonies. 3, no way to verify if actually all 500 of them actually saw Jesus, or if like a good number of them had like some sort of visionary experiences, and out of peer pressure, the rest said, "Oh yeah, I saw him too," like what you would get in like a Pentecostal church.
Yes, but also none of these had made prophetic claims that hadn't occurred yet and occurred. For example, the destruction of the temple, which Jesus states and made prophetic claims that hadn't occurred yet and occurred. For example, the destruction of the temple, which Jesus states in Mark and is echoed later on.
Mark was written after the destruction of the temple.
Well, if it is written after the destruction of the temple, and it shows malice, and it shows that they're trying to write stuff in the text, which means they don't believe it. Why would they lie about something that they fully believe to make more true? They would just write what they believe is true.
To spread the religion. We don't know the intention of the authors.
Why would they lie about it?
We don't even know who wrote them. As far as you know, the Gospels could have been written merely as a parable, with no true history, in order to teach lessons to the early believers.
You do realize that, like, someone unaliving for a belief that they have that's false, if that is the reason that you expect us to believe that the resurrection occurred, then we're going to have to believe in virtually every religion out there.
Also,
no, that's not the claim I'm making. The claim I'm making is that they had no gain from it to lie about it.
Even if Jesus,
well, neither do these other religions.
If I believe the earth is flat, I'm not going to make up evidence.
Wait, safe. Even if Jesus authentically made the claim that the temple would be destroyed, the Hebrew Bible already made that prediction. And the tension was very high with the Romans. The temple had been destroyed before by Israel's enemies. To make the claim that the temple would be destroyed again is not all that extraordinary.
But it shows that, first of all, Jesus is speaking the truth, which will occur. Secondary, the most important thing is it actually dates when this is written, because it is actually highly controversial early on to state that the temple would be destroyed. It would actually push the Jews away. Yes, absolutely.
Why would that be controversial when the Hebrew Bible said it would happen again?
Well, because it would show that this man is against Jews, and Jews would not want to follow or join the religion. If I'm trying to make you like me and join my belief, I'm not going to say something against you.
Again, the Hebrew Bible already said that the second temple was going to be destroyed. So him saying that's going to happen, prophets spoke against the people of Israel all the time, and Jesus of Nazareth wasn't even the only person in the first century who was saying that. There was another Jesus mentioned in the book of Josephus who was living just prior to the destruction of the second temple, who was railing against the religious leaders and making the claim that the temple would be destroyed.
Yes, but he did not gain any the other Jesus, like, no one cares about him.
Because the Roman Empire, he didn't have a cult following, and the Roman Empire didn't like establish this cult.
So why would Jesus have then a cult following who all believe this delusion? I mean, it's so easy for me to be someone who, like, let's look at the Romans.
Why did Jim Jones have followers?
Well, let's look early on at the Romans here. The Romans have this group of rowdy people who are going all around their kingdom, preaching this crazy doctrine that is going against their current belief. The Romans could just pull Jesus' body from the ground, say, "There's the body. He's dead.
They couldn't.
He's not alive." Why couldn't they?
I've already told you, that wouldn't stop the early believers, because not all Jews believed.
It wouldn't, but there's no record that they did.
Safe. Again, not all early Jews thought that the resurrection meant that the body that died was the one that was raised from the dead. Paul didn't think that. Paul described the resurrection
Where do we see that?
In Paul's writings in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. He describes Jesus' resurrection in terms of like a seed which is planted in the ground, and the plant issues forth from the seed. The body that was laid is not the one that's raised.
Oh, but that is not speaking of Jesus having a new body or Jesus being a spirit. It is simply showing that
he literally calls him a life-giving spirit.
Yeah, he is a life-giving spirit because of the Holy Spirit, because he is a triune God. That's the point that Paul is making.
No, Paul never makes that point. Does Paul ever describe Jesus' resurrection body as being flesh and blood?
the allegory he's using here clarifies that it's the same body, it's the same plant that is being raised.
He literally says the body that's laid is not the one that's raised.
Let's look at it. What's the exact verse?
1 Corinthians chapter 15. Let's see. Now, verse 12. Now, if Christ is preached as raised from the dead, how can some of you say there is no resurrection of the dead? But if there is no resurrection of the dead, then Christ has not been raised. If Christ has not been raised, then our preaching is in vain, and our faith is in vain. Where's the part where it talks about the order? Okay, but in fact, this is verse 20. But in fact, Christ has been raised from the dead, the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep. For as by a man came death, Adam, by a man also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all die, so also in Christ shall all be made alive. But each in his own order, Christ the first fruits, then as his coming, those who belong to Christ. Then comes the end, when he delivers the kingdom to God the Father, after destroying every rule and every authority and power. For he must reign until he has put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy to destroy is death. Where is he talking about the nature of the resurrection? Oh, here we go. Flip further down. Let's see. You foolish. Okay, verse 35. Sorry, but some will ask, how are the dead raised? With what kind of body do they come? You foolish man. What you sow does not come to life unless it dies, and what you sow is not the body which is to be, but a bare kernel, perhaps of wheat or of some other grain. But if God gives it a body he has chosen, and to each kind of seed its own body, for not all flesh is alike, but there is one kind for men, another for animals, another for birds, and another for fish. There are celestial bodies, and there are terrestrial bodies, but the glory of the celestial one and the glory of the terrestrial is another. There is one glory of the sun, one glory of the moon, another glory of the stars, for the stars differ from stars in glory. So is it with the resurrection of the dead. What is sown is perishable, what is raised imperishable. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. It is sown a physical body, it is raised a spiritual body. If there is a physical body, there is also a spiritual body. Two different bodies. Thus it is written, the first man, Adam, became a living being. The last Adam became a life-giving spirit. But it is not the spiritual which is the first, but the physical, and then the spiritual. So he tells that there are two different bodies, that Jesus was a life-giving spirit, and the analogy he uses to describe the resurrection is a seed that goes into the earth. When you bury a seed, is it the seed that comes out of the earth?
So first of all, let's actually talk about this. So verse 35
I asked you a question.
Well, yes, but verse 35 is not pertaining to the resurrection of Christ.
I asked you a question.
No.
I asked you a question.
Let's talk about things.
I asked you a question. When you bury a seed in the earth... No, you can answer my question. When you bury a seed in the earth...
I didn't even...
Safe. When you bury a seed in the earth, is it the seed that comes up from the ground?
Technically.
No. The seed stays in the earth.
It's what's within the seed.
What's within the seed.
But it comes from the seed.
Yes. So does the spirit of a man. It comes forth from his corpse.
Can I talk?
Now you can say something.
Great. Verse 35 pertains to not the resurrection of Jesus, but the resurrection of others.
You think Jesus is a different resurrection from the general resurrection? Because he literally says
because
that Jesus' resurrection is the first fruits of the rest of the resurrection.
But it is still different in nature.
No,
we see that Jesus keeps his own body, but we will not.
No.
But
verse 45 tells us that he's not just talking about us, he's also talking about Jesus. Thus it is written, the first man, Adam, became a living being. The last Adam, being Christ, became a life-giving spirit.
Also, Paul lists in 1 Corinthians 15, right where we're at, in verses 5 through 8, Paul lists eyewitnesses who saw the risen Jesus.
Yes. Why are you pivoting to this?
So
you're raking my neck.
I'm pivoting to this. I'm pivoting to this to show...
No, safe. Stay on topic. We're talking about...
This is the topic.
No, because all those verses are going to tell us is that Jesus appeared to people. It doesn't say in what manner.
Well, if there's
don't let him pivot. Don't let him pivot. Don't pivot.
I'm not pivoting. This is all within one chapter.
No,
We're reading the chapter within the
context. It's not. No.
All this text tells us earlier on is that Jesus appeared to people. Does it say in what manner?
Hey, you took me through the entire chapter looking for one verse. Let's read it within the context of what's happening here.
Does the text say what manner Jesus appeared? Or does it just say he appeared?
Well, I'm trying to look for it. God,
it just says appeared.
Yeah, it just says he appeared to Peter, and then to the 12, and then to James, and then to the 500. Does it tell us in what manner he appeared? Does it say he appeared in a flesh and blood body?
And to the 12 after that.
Does it say that he appeared to them in the room? I'll just read it for the class.
Okay.
It says.
No, I read it. It's okay.
Does it say the manner in which he's appeared?
No, it simply says that he appeared, but how would they be able to identify that it's him without it being clear that it is?
Because visions during this time period would have been super common and revered. This would have been something that occurred. The thing is that when you're reading Paul, he never makes the claim that Jesus comes to him flesh and blood, and all the language that he uses is that of vision-like language. And because he says, last of all, as to one ultimately born, he appeared also to me, I'm going to make the assumption that Paul's also using the same context in which he is applied to himself here, that he is it's a vision.
I'm really sorry, but I'll have to disagree with you here, because we actually see that in the Gospels, it's clear that he appears physically because we see the Gospels. In his hands.
The Gospels are a later tradition. We're talking about Paul right now. Paul's works were written before the Gospels. If you want to say, well, the Gospels present Jesus as physical.
Well,
the Gospels say a lot of things about Jesus. They say he was buried in a tomb, and that his physical body is the one that was raised. I'm not concerned right now with what the Gospels say. I'm concerned only with what Paul believed. You made the claim that, well, they would have. What would they have said if they had brought forth the body? I pointed to 1 Corinthians 15 in order to show you that not all Christians believed that this idea that the same body that was put down in the earth was the one that was raised.
It's impossible that the Gospels were in after Paul because Paul references them.
He does not.
Yes, he does.
The fuck?
He does not. I
would like to Corinthians 11:23. He references the Lord's Supper. Luke 22.
Yes. How do you know
1 Corinthians 7.
How do you know that the Gospel authors weren't pulling from Paul?
Because he's referencing the writings that are
No. To be clear, to be clear, Paul specifically says that he received this in a vision from Jesus, not from the Gospels. Do you want to actually read the text?
No, but Paul has multiple times referred to the text.
He never refers to the Gospels. He never refers to the text of the Gospels. Show me a place where he references a physical text of the Gospels.
Okay. Let's see.
And note just the phrase, the Scriptures. According to the Scriptures, that's a reference to the Hebrew Bible.
Well, let's see. Sorry, I lost my spot.
Dalton, pull up 2 Corinthians 11:32.
Let's see, 2 Corinthians 11. At Damascus, the governor under King Aretas guarded the city of Damascus in order to seize me.
When was that? 40 CE?
Around.
That would have been
around 40 CE. Yeah.
Yeah, and when are the events in the Gospels taken? How do we date the Gospels?
The Gospels were dated. The Gospels themselves, the texts are dated to around 70.
Yeah, but how are we dating them?
Mostly through carbon dating, and through
So how could these two things? So it's very clear that the details that Paul is mentioning happened far before we carbon date.
I don't want to distract him from him trying to find me a passage where Paul is explicitly quoting the gospel text.
Let's see. Sorry, what was the argument she was trying to make?
No. Stay on.
No, that was for Dalton, not for you. You find the passage.
I want you to find me a passage where Paul quotes from the gospel text. Kelvaster says it's paleography. Yeah, that's one of the methods we use to date the Gospels. What kind of language is being used in the text? Carbon dating is for like the actual manuscripts, but the content of the manuscripts we use paleography. Yes, we do carbon date manuscript, Mr. Eddie. You just take a small portion from the side of the from the document. Yeah.
Oh, so let's actually go in the passage that we're in.
Verse where?
Well, verse 1 through
what book?
5.
What book?
1 Corinthians.
Chapter
15.
All right. Now I would remind you, brethren, in what terms I preached to you the gospel which you received, in which you stand, by which you are saved, and hold it fast, unless you believed in vain. Yeah? It's not a reference to the gospel text.
For what I received, I passed on to you as one of importance.
The oral
that Christ died for us according to the scriptures.
Yeah,
the scriptures.
The scriptures he's referencing are not the New Testament text.
Did you listen?
Did you?
No.
Dalton literally told you not to use the term scripture. He literally said this.
I told you explicitly, everyone is a witness to this, that when Paul mentions the scriptures, he's referring to the Old Testament. The Gospels were not considered scriptures in the first century. They had not reached that status among the early Christians. Paul's own works had not yet reached that status. Paul's references to the scriptures is the Old Testament. Paul's merely saying here that the things being spoken about Jesus are prophesied in the Hebrew Bible.
What is he referencing in verse 3?
For I delivered to you as a first importance also what I received, that Christ died for our sins in accordance with the scriptures. He's prophetically referencing Isaiah 53.
Oh, so then you are contradicting yourself, where you're saying that Jesus doesn't fulfill any of the
I'm not contradicting myself. I never said that. Paul didn't think that Isaiah 53 is about Jesus. I said that Isaiah 53 wasn't about Jesus. There's a big difference. Do you understand the difference?
Sorry?
Do you understand the difference?
Between?
I never made the claim that Paul didn't believe that Isaiah 53 was about Jesus. I just made the claim that the text is itself not about Jesus. How Paul interpreted the Bible is his own problem. Just like you Christians, he took the Old Testament out of context a lot.
But he says, I passed on to you first importance that Christ died for our sins according to the scriptures, that he was buried, that he was raised on the third day according to the scriptures.
Paul believed all these things were prophesied in the Hebrew Bible.
And that he appeared to Cephas, that's also prophesied.
No, that's part of the tradition that he received.
And then to the 12, that's all part of the scriptures. That's not
part of the scriptures.
But he was raised on the third day according to the scriptures, and he appeared to Cephas and then to the 12. He's talking about the scriptures.
This can't be the Gospels, because nowhere in the Gospels does Jesus appear to 500 people all at once.
Here it says that he appeared to Cephas and then to the 12.
Read
it does
on.
Not say the 500 people in 3 to 5.
No. It does mention the 500 in verse 6. Then he appeared to more than 500 brethren at one time, most of whom are still alive.
Still living.
Yeah.
Is this not in Acts?
Where is that in the Gospels? No, it's not in Acts.
Is this not in Acts?
No. Where did Jesus appear to 500 people in the book of Acts? Show me.
Let's see. During the 40 days.
Where does it say 500 people?
This
is wild.
What is the Greek word that is used for appeared here?
I think it's harazo.
And what does that word mean exactly?
It just means to appear to or to be perceived by. It's used for both like seeing physical things, but also for visions. It's used to describe Paul's own seeing of Jesus, which was a vision. And last of all, And last of all, as to one untimely born, he appeared also to me. Paul didn't see Jesus in the flesh. He had a vision of him.
I see.
So where in the book of Acts is it mentioned 500 people seeing Jesus all at once? This is the first time I've ever said this.
But wait, can you repeat the word that you actually said is appeared?
I think
that is used here.
Let me see the exact Greek word. I think it's harazo, but I could be wrong. Let me take a look.
Let's
see. Tools. Let's see. It is the Greek word harao. Sorry, harao. But again, harao just means to appear, to be perceived by. It's used to describe the way that Jesus appeared to Paul, and we know that Paul only had a vision of Jesus. He didn't see the physical Jesus. But again, I'm not going to let you get away from the claim that you made. Where in the book of Acts does it say that Jesus appeared to 500 people?
Sorry, give me 1 second. Oh. But the word used for Cephas is not appeared, actually.
It's the same Greek. It's the same Greek word.
No, don't let him, Dalton.
Yeah.
Where in the book of Acts?
Where in the book of Acts?
Where in the book of Acts?
I'm still stuck on the fact that you're.
Where in the book of Acts?
Okay, I'm wrong. He didn't appear to 500 people in the book of Acts.
Fantastic.
Are you happy about this?
Now,
great.
The Greek word for he appeared to Cephas is also the Greek word horao. Kati opti.
No, it's not.
Opthe is
Yes.
Opthe is the word horao. It's the aorist form.
Really? So opthe
Yes,
and horao are the same word.
It's the aorist form of the Greek word horao.
But opthe means seen, not appeared.
No, it's the same word. It's the aorist tense of the word horao.
Do you know how Greek works?
Tell me. Educate me.
So when it comes to the aorist tense, sometimes Greek words take on a special form when they're used in the aorist. There's no like equivalent in English to what aorist is. But when it comes to aorist, here I'll give you this definition of aorist, is characterized by its emphasis on punctiliar action. That is, the concept of the verb is considered without regard for past, present, or future time. There is no direct or clear English equivalent for this tense, though it is generally rendered as a simple past tense in most translations. The events described by the aorist tense are classified into a number of categories by grammarians. But the Greek word opthe is the aorist form of the Greek word horao.
Okay, so here he appeared either physically or non-physically to these 500 people. And first of all, we know some of these 500 people because one of them is Paul. So we actually do. No, Paul is one of the 500.
Nope. Paul never says he's part of the 500. He makes the claim that he says later on in verse 8, last of all, as to one untimely, he appeared also to me. He categorizes himself as being different than the group of the 500.
And regardless of that, why don't any of the 500 say, no, he didn't appear to me?
We don't know whether the 500 actually saw Jesus. All we have is a claim from Paul that 500, that Jesus, quote, appeared to 500 people. Do we know their names?
I don't know their names.
Do we know where they lived?
Do you know the names of every soldier in Alexander's military?
The fact that Paul doesn't
Don't
name them,
let him pivot. Don't let him.
Yeah,
the burden of proof is on you.
No.
You are the one that is making the claim. You need to prove it. We don't know anything about these 500 people. That's it.
You can unmute yourself, safe.
If I come today and I tell you that Charlie Kirk appeared in front of 500 people,
don't fucking compare Charlie Kirk
all
to
tell
Jesus.
you that they didn't exist.
No,
I don't think he's
no,
Jesus.
this isn't the same fucking thing. This isn't even. Yes, I would want to verify it. Give me evidence that we know who the 500 were and verify this from outside sources. Do something. But I don't care if you point to the goddamn Pope himself or your best friend. I don't care. You're the one who's making the claim. You cannot compare it to other things. You have the burden of proof.
The sources are the writings of someone like Josephus, who does mention James and does mention the.
He doesn't mention the 500.
Josephus does not mention the 500.
But Josephus, who
James exists. James exists.
I need you to lock in safe. My question to you is: do we know anyone from the 500? Do we know where they lived? Do we know when Jesus appeared to them? Do we have any of their testimony? Do we actually know that what they all saw was the same exact thing? Answer that. Safe. Unmute your mic.
Sorry? Hello?
My question to you is, do we know the name of any of the 500?
No.
Do we have
I'm
any
not
of their
going to tell you that I do know the name.
Do we have any of their testimony? Do we even know that they all saw the same exact thing?
We don't have their testimonies, but we do have of the other 12, or at least 4.
We have 4.
Other
We have. Well, no. None of the Gospels are eyewitness testimonies.
John is an eyewitness testimony.
John is a plural of people claiming that they're getting their information from an eyewitness.
There's no evidence that it's a plural of people.
Yes, the fact that they've literally referred to themselves in the plural. We believe his testimony is true. What does that sound like?
We, speaking of the Christians at the time, not just himself.
No, it's the people who's recording. It's the people who's writing the text.
Because he speaks of himself actually as the disciple Jesus loved.
So is it we believe? Who's we?
The collective Christian body.
They're the ones who
writing.
They're the ones who wrote this text, because it's the writers.
John is speaking within the tongue of the collective Christian body that is currently there.
No, you have no evidence that John wrote this.
You have no evidence that he didn't.
John was illiterate.
What is the evidence of that?
And also, do we have any evidence that John was alive in 90 CE? And that's a generous date. That's generous.
Generous 90 CE. Where would you date? How do you where do you confirm or get the understanding of when the Gospels were written?
John could have been written anytime between 90 to 120 CE.
Okay, and what about the other 3 Gospels? Where do you date them, and how do you date them?
Mark was generally. I'm not going to let you pivot again. Jesus fucking Christ. Does the Gospel of Mark ever claim to be an eyewitness testimony?
No, the Gospel of Mark is not an eyewitness testimony. It is a testimony recorded down from Peter.
Does the Gospel of Matthew ever claim to be an eyewitness testimony?
No, I do not believe that it claims to be an eyewitness testimony.
Okay, it's kind of weird that Matthew, if it was written by Matthew, is actually using Mark to write his Gospel. It's a weird thing for an eyewitness to do. It's also weird that if these are eyewitness testimonies, that they can't even agree as to when Jesus was born.
How come they can't agree?
One gospel author plays. Okay, here I'll ask you a question. Let's test your Bible knowledge.
Okay.
Was Jesus born during the reign of King Herod the Great? And this is going to be the last thing we talk about.
Oh, during the reign of King Herod the Great versus the other 3 Herods that are his sons?
No, not the. I don't care about the other 3 Herods. Was Jesus born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
As far as I know, I believe so. Yes.
All right. Was Jesus born during the time when Quirinius was the governor of Syria?
I'm not sure.
What does Luke chapter 2 verses 1 to 2 say?
Luke 2, 1 through 2. Let's look at it. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria. There you go.
So was Jesus born when Quirinius was the governor of Syria?
And everyone went to their own town register. It seems so.
Quirinius was governor of Syria only 10 years after Herod was already dead.
And what is the evidence for that?
Josephus. Antiquities of the Jews, book 17 and 18, gives us a pretty good spot on history for Palestine in the 1st century. Herod the Great died in 4 BCE. As a result, his kingdom was divided amongst his 3 sons. His son Archelaus received the region of Judea, and he was so shite at his job that the Romans had to depose him and exile him to Vienna. Then the region of Judea was annexed to Rome. Quirinius was installed as governor of Syria, and he did a taxation over the people of Judah because it was a newly acquired Roman province. Jesus cannot be born during the reign of King Herod the Great, and also during the census of Quirinius. There's no way these are eyewitness accounts, unless Jesus crawled back up into his mother's vagina and was born a decade again.
Well, regardless of the fact that it's an eyewitness, even though I said that the three Gospels aren't necessarily eyewitness, although I would say Matthew and John are, but regardless of that, you still didn't tell me when you believe the Gospels to be written.
I take the consensus of the scholarship that the Gospels were written between 70 to 90 CE.
Okay, that's great. So that is before then the destruction of the temple.
That's after.
When do you believe the temple to be destroyed?
70 CE. The Gospels were written between 70 and 90 CE. That's after the destruction of the temple.
1 second. The destruction of the temple. And you mentioned that they're written from what range to what range?
70 to 90 CE.
Okay. And within that time, anyone who would have seen Jesus would be dead, right?
We don't know. Peter and Paul.
Well, we know that
Peter
they
was
weren't
dead.
because it's only 30 years.
Peter was dead. Peter and Paul
Sure.
died in the 60s.
So then the people around still can't just say, "Oh, the guy died, never rose from the..." Like it's that easy to discredit the Christians. Why does it then take off? Why do more people believe this?
Safe. We've already discussed the resurrection of the dead. I'm not going to discuss it with you again. You can go back and watch this video on YouTube later if you want. But we've been speaking for 40 minutes, and I've had enough.
All right, well, have a good one. But it's just nonsensical for all these people to...
Whatever you say.
Yeah, okay.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for all the likes and all the shares. And make sure that you are subscribed to Dalton the Bible Guy TikTok and YouTube, and to Ashlyn's TikTok channel. This live will be going on the YouTube channel by the end of the night. And we will see you again on another day.
Bye. Appreciate everyone for being here.
Oh, make sure. Oh, wait, before we leave, who should we send? A raid to? This time I remember.
I'm
Look
like
at that.
distracted. I am distracted tonight. I think you can probably tell.
That's okay. I understand.
Oh God, stop it. No, I'm just tired. I worked a long shift today.
My phone's literally at 1%. I gotta hurry up and find someone to raid.
Oh, let's see. Tiny is live.
Tiny's live. Who else? Let's make sure I cover all my bases.
Tiny. I think me. I forgot.
The only one I want to send is Tiny. So everyone, make sure to go check out Tiny Science. I'm gonna write their username in the comment section and tell them that Dalton the Bible Guy sent you. Alright. See, it's right there in the comment section. Make sure you go tell Tiny Science that Dalton the Bible Guy and Ashlyn sent you. And with that, I've been Dalton the Bible Guy. We'll see you guys on another night. Shalom, my homies.